Chapter 1589, Crown Prince's Embarrassment. This was Xie Jingrong's suggestion after gauging the Crown Prince's stance, and it resonated with Shao Yunduan. Initially confused, Shao Yunduan hadn't considered this possibility at first. Indeed, wouldn't it be more advantageous to seek release from his current position rather than persisting in the capital? What one doesn't know or see can't harm them. The future conduct of the Crown Prince, whether good or bad, was no longer of concern to him. Having fulfilled his duties and exerted considerable effort, Shao Yunduan, now emotionally detached, had no intention of obstinately persevering. He envisioned leaving the capital far behind. Regardless of who ruled the empire in the future, he would remain a subject. While he hoped for the Crown Prince's eventual success, he no longer prioritized merit. Fortuitously, he found the right moment to voice his decision. The emperor, caught off guard, briefly froze before responding coldly. Shao Yunduan, are you serious? Do you comprehend the gravity of your words? Your Majesty, upon reflection, I believe this is the most suitable course of action. The emperor stared at him with a sneer. So, you do understand your place. Shao Yunduan kowtowed once more. Go inform the Crown Prince of your decision. The emperor wanted the Crown Prince to make the final call. Shao Yunduan's heart sank, but he dared not utter further protest. Yes, I will. Without delay, Shao Yunduan proceeded to the East Palace. Upon hearing that Shao Yunduan sought an audience, the Crown Prince's initial reaction was to devise an excuse to decline. For some inexplicable reason, the Crown Prince felt a slight reluctance to meet Shao Yunduan alone. The awkwardness hung in the air, leaving him uncertain about what to say. After a moment's contemplation, he instructed someone to bring Shao Yunduan in. It wouldn't be prudent to avoid the meeting. What if Shao Yunduan was overanalyzing the situation? That was something the Crown Prince wanted to avoid. The Crown Prince, known for prioritizing others, usually chose to sacrifice himself in conflicts. However, this magnanimity often went unappreciated, making it slightly inappropriate in certain situations. As they exchanged greetings, the initial awkwardness in the Crown Prince's heart began to fade. Observing Shao Yunduan, the Crown Prince had much to express. Ultimately, he sighed and said, Officer Shao, you didn't have to confront Fourth Brother like that yesterday. Fourth Brother has always been hot-tempered. If he bears a grudge because of this, wouldn't he? Thank you for your concern, Crown Prince. Shao Yunduan calmly cupped his hands. Actually, it doesn't matter. After all, I am afraid that the Fourth Prince doesn't have any good feelings towards me. Shao Yunduan acknowledged, but inwardly, he marveled at the Crown Prince's apparent belief that the uncle and nephew had genuinely taken their own lives. Was the Crown Prince truly so uncomplicated? The revelation left Shao Yunduan astounded. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1590, requesting to be sent away. After a prolonged silence, Shao Yunduan seized the opportunity to reveal the purpose of his visit. The Crown Prince, taken aback, fixed his gaze on Shao Yunduan and gradually regained his composure. No. I cannot agree. Officer Shao, why entertain such thoughts? It is in your best interest to remain in the capital. Others pursue such endeavors to amass experience, but you are exempt from this necessity. The Crown Prince displayed a mix of anxiety and anger. Undeterred, Shao Yunduan maintained his resolve. Bowing respectfully, he asserted, Crown Prince, I fear that if I linger in the capital, the Fourth Prince may stir up trouble, and other princes might exploit the situation. What if it implicates your Highness? I have contemplated this, and I believe a temporary departure from the capital to lie low would be prudent. Wouldn't it be beneficial for everyone to alleviate tensions? The Crown Prince's expression darkened as he listened to Shao Yunduan. Officer Shao, are you still unable to let go of the past? Are you blaming me? Shao Yunduan paused briefly before responding, Crown Prince, you are reading too much into it. I harbor no such sentiments. Did he really need to pose such a question? Let go? How could he let go? What would happen to his wife if luck hadn't favored her, and she encountered Xie Jingrong and his accomplices. Her survival was due to her own abilities and fortune, but that couldn't serve as an excuse to absolve the fourth prince of any wrongdoing. The crown prince attempted to console him, stating, "Regardless, Madame Shao returned unharmed. She suffered no harm." How could he say that? As a loyal minister, he had to heed the crown prince, but his heart remained frigid. Although Shao Yunduan's denial sounded genuine, the crown prince sighed with a bitter smile. "I understand that you still harbor resentment, Officer Shao. But who in this world can act without restraint? There are limits to what one can accomplish. Even as the crown prince, I am bound by constraints." Could the fourth prince manipulate the crown prince's hand with a simple trick, rendering him immobile? Shao Yunduan, maintaining his composure, respectfully responded, "Crown Prince, your wisdom is evident, and I acknowledge it. Despite that, do you still insist on leaving?" inquired the crown prince. Shao Yunduan cast his gaze downward and nodded. "Yes, I can gather intelligence for the crown prince and avoid conflicts with the fourth prince. Would that not be a win-win situation? I may not harbor resentment from the past, but convincing the fourth prince might be challenging. If he perceives lingering animosity and seizes an opportunity to strike, what recourse do I have? Would I not be burdening the crown prince? That is why I believe it's in everyone's best interest for me to depart from the capital. Crown Prince, please grant me this request." Shao Yunduan knelt down, clasping his hands. "The Emperor summoned me to the court today to reprimand me for the incident at the Intermediate Office of Heavenly Mansion yesterday. I have requested the release of the decree, and the Emperor instructed me to inform you." The Crown Prince's heart sank as he looked at Shao Yunduan, the previously gentle expression now marred. A feeling of disappointment and panic overwhelmed him. He couldn't shake the sense that the bond between him and Shao Yunduan was irreparably damaged. He resented Shao Yunduan for magnifying a minor issue and expected more from someone he held in high regard. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1591, Why Are You So Unreasonable? Yet, he remained unyielding. "Why are you so obstinate?" the Crown Prince exclaimed in slight irritation. "Reflect on it. Withdraw your request." Shao Yunduan chose not to engage in argument but rose from his seat and departed. The Crown Prince, seated on the couch, released a prolonged sigh. Frustrated, he sought solace at the princess consort's residence. Welcoming him with enthusiasm, the princess consort served tea with great hospitality. Observing the Crown Prince's disinterested demeanor, Princess Consort grew concerned and inquired, "Crown Prince, what has happened? Is something troubling you?" The Crown Prince seldom discussed political matters with the Princess Consort, who, in turn, refrained from probing into such affairs. However, Shao Yunduan's situation transcended mere politics. The Crown Prince sighed. "Officer Shao requested release today. I cannot fathom why he would entertain such a notion." "Oh," Princess Consort was taken aback and exclaimed, "Crown Prince did not acquiesce, did he? They could not allow him to leave. He dared to venture where others hesitated, excelling in tasks beyond the capability of others. His contributions were manifold, including pleasant surprises. That year, the imperial plantation yielded a bountiful potato harvest, eliciting joy from the Ministry of Revenue. The Emperor, pleased, commended the Crown Prince, declaring him a boon to the empire. He asserted that in times of famine, these potatoes could potentially save countless lives. Such merit was priceless and irreplaceable. And Shao Yunduan had orchestrated all of this for the Crown Prince. Despite her disapproval of Qiao Xian and the belief that Shao Yunduan was overly lenient toward him, the princess consort still wished for Shao Yunduan to remain by the Crown Prince's side and offer his assistance. The Crown Prince, inherently kind-hearted, faced limitations with aides and confidants constrained by their reputations. In contrast, Shao Yunduan, a fearless youth, operated without as many worries and constraints. What hindered others did not impede him. The Crown Prince needed such a fearless ally. Shaking his head with a bitter smile, the Crown Prince remarked, "I urged him to reconsider, but Officer Shao remains resolute. He won't change his mind. The princess consort expressed displeasure, stating, as a minister and with the crown prince as the heir, as a scholar and the primus, doesn't he understand the principle of hierarchy? If he's loyal to the crown prince, he shouldn't speak that way. You misunderstand him. The crown prince hesitated before revealing Shao Yunduan's lingering dissatisfaction with Qiao Xian's kidnapping. Princess consort grew even angrier and felt a twinge of embarrassment. The fourth princess consort had approached her, apologizing and explaining that the fourth prince had saved her grandson's life at the cost of almost losing his own. While proud of her grandson's luck, princess consort found the fourth princess consort's request reasonable and couldn't refuse. She agreed immediately and sought to persuade the crown prince. Facing pressure, the crown prince accepted the favor, giving in to princess consort. If Shao Yunduan harbored issues with this matter, it implied princess consort had erred. Naturally, she wasn't pleased. This is even more unjustifiable. Lord Shao, can't you grasp such a simple principle? Fourth brother saved our grandson, we must reciprocate. Miss Qiao is unharmed, isn't she? What is there to argue about? Is Lord Shao willing to harm us all? That's too much. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know it report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1592, Ms. Qiao must have instigated it. If I may speculate, Lord Shao wouldn't act so thoughtlessly towards the crown prince. Perhaps it's Ms. Qiao who is influencing him. Maybe Ms. Qiao is behind the request for release. It's difficult to say, that could be the case. The more the princess consort contemplated, the more she believed she was correct, and the more she grew disdainful of Qiao Xian. She sighed, unable to suppress her disappointment. Born into a humble family with no proper upbringing. What a pity for Lord Shao, her words raised doubt in the crown prince. He fell into contemplative silence. Princess consort sneered. I've been saying that Miss Qiao will run into trouble sooner or later, and I am right. A virtuous wife should steer clear of such complications. Crown prince dismissed it with a wave. That's their family affair. Let's not dwell on it. Princess consort felt a twinge of frustration. A family affair? While true, if it jeopardized the crown prince's interests, it ceased to be a simple family matter. She couldn't fathom why the crown prince indulged Ms. Qiao to such an extent. It was perplexing. What's your plan? What else could he do? Crown prince sighed. Wait and observe. At the Shao mansion, Qiao Xian, Shao Yunduan, Xie Jingrong, and Zhao Shu engaged in a discussion. The possibility of Shao Yunduan leaving the capital hung in uncertainty. The crown prince wouldn't easily let him go, but Shao Yunduan was determined to depart. He had no intention of prolonging his stay in the capital any further. He couldn't bear to see Qiao Xian harmed again. As long as Qiao Xian remained alive, the fourth prince would eventually yield to the crown prince, bringing an end to the situation. She's perfectly fine. But what if, one day, Qiao Xian's luck ran out, and she couldn't return? Would they be able to say, forget it, she's gone, why persist? His efforts for the crown prince, especially the potato incident, had not only earned the emperor's admiration and respect but had also garnered widespread support. He had become a thorn in the sides of the other princes. The challenges wouldn't cease. In such circumstances, resigning wasn't appropriate. He could only release it, signifying a pause and admission of defeat. As long as the fourth prince and the others weren't foolish, they wouldn't proactively harm him. At most, they would observe from a distance. It wasn't that Shao Yunduan was arrogant, but the fourth prince might place him in a crucial position if he ever gained control. He hadn't been with the crown prince for long and wasn't irreplaceable. If that day truly arrived, it would be the day he resigned. Qiao Xian desired distance from the capital. What was so appealing about this place? She might as well be a local official, a local leader. To farm happily and earn money without exhaustion sounded ideal. Xie Jingrong worried about Qiao Xian's safety, which aligned with his hopes. Zhao Shu? He wanted to settle matters quickly so he could get married. Qiao Xian's heart skipped a beat. If the crown prince is unwilling, the fourth prince must be eager, right? If the fourth prince lends his support, Xie Jingrong smiled. That's a solid plan, but we must proceed with caution to ensure that no one discovers our intentions. I'll devise another approach for Princess Consort's family, Shao Yunduan chuckled. Regardless, my decision remains unchanged. If the crown prince values our connection, he'll acquiesce. Over time, word of Shao Yunduan's departure from the capital started circulating. The fourth prince became intrigued and sought to verify the accuracy of the information. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1593, Tit for Tat. The crown prince seethed with anger, adamant about rejecting anyone associated with the East Palace. However, Shao Yunduan's demeanor remained ambiguous and perplexing. Contrary to appearances, Shao Yunduan's stance was crystal clear. The fourth prince, growing increasingly convinced, desired to expedite Shao Yunduan's departure from the capital. This individual's presence in the capital's intermediate had brought about too many complications. The farther he went, the better. Initially skeptical of Princess Consort's words, the crown prince now found himself infuriated and placed blame on Qiao Xian. Summoned to the East Palace, Qiao Xian received a severe reprimand from Princess Consort. The intention was to urge her to adopt a generous and virtuous attitude, to not harbor selfish resentments. What more could she gain by ruining her husband's career? In the face of accusations, Qiao Xian grew indignant. I fail to comprehend your meaning, and I don't understand why you're telling me this. Princess Consort's anger escalated, and she sneered. You claim not to understand? You've always been audacious and intelligent, what's there not to understand? Princess Consort, you flatter me, am unworthy of such praise, Qiao Xian replied with a slight bow, maintaining composure. I am not impolite, I am not virtuous, and I am not selfish. Princess Consort, where did you come across these words? You. Princess Consort, is my husband worthless and foolish? Having seemingly discovered a vulnerability in Qiao Xian's demeanor, Princess Consort snapped, Miss Qiao, how can you speak ill of your own husband? You're not a good wife. Princess Consort, do you not grasp? I am inquiring about your opinion, not endorsing any particular view. So, do you also believe that my husband is not that kind of person? In that case, my husband should be the one to judge whether I am virtuous, magnanimous, or selfish, correct? My husband has always treated me kindly and has never accused me of being a bad person. I am genuinely perplexed. Where did these accusations originate, Princess Consort? Has someone maligned me in your presence? I will not accept being falsely accused. Princess Consort, kindly clarify and vindicate my reputation. Princess Consort, incensed, retorted, Miss Qiao, are you attempting to force me? How dare you? Do you comprehend the hierarchy? I'm simply seeking an explanation. Otherwise, I won't endure this tarnished reputation while remaining in the capital. Princess Consort, irritated by the mention of staying in the capital, snapped at Zhao. How dare you resort to such threats? Fine, I won't beat around the bush, I'll explain. You were abducted, Princess Consort, Qiao Xian interjected, expressing confusion. What are you talking about? I am becoming increasingly baffled. Princess Consort was caught off guard. Qiao Xian's kidnapping hadn't been made public. Shao Yunduan had informed the crown prince privately, with the crown prince opting to keep it under wraps. Upon Qiao Xian's pushback, the crown prince instructed Princess Consort not to openly discuss the matter. However, she cared little for the directive. In fact, she relished the idea of seeking revenge and eagerly anticipated the widespread dissemination of this information. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1594. Chapter 1595. She cared little about the potential spread of rumors and the trouble it might bring to Qiao Xian. Princess Consort spoke coldly, you understand perfectly well what I'm referring to. There are no outsiders here, they are all my confidants. There's no need for you to feign ignorance. You were taken, who abducted me? Princess Consort, enlighten me with the whole story. When did this supposed kidnapping occur? Once again, Princess Consort choked, her face fluctuating between red and white. This time, she found herself speechless. Could she admit that the fourth prince was behind the abduction? She didn't dare, lacking any evidence. If news spread through her servants, the fourth prince would likely retaliate first. Feeling the weight of Qiao Xian's challenge, Princess Consort grew increasingly embarrassed and frustrated. You know what happened. I'm genuinely unsure, so Princess Consort, please enlighten me. You. Princess Consort panted, glaring at Qiao Xian. Her chest rose and fell rapidly, she was evidently seething with anger. I have underestimated you, she gritted her teeth, raising her eyes and speaking in a deep tone. Ms. Qiao, you are even more uncouth than I thought. I've never encountered such a shrew in the marketplace. It has broadened my horizons. The palace maids and attendants lowered their heads, their bodies tense. Holding their breath, they dared not make a sound. Auntie Fu, absent due to illness, was missed by everyone. In this charged atmosphere, no one dared to speak, and only Auntie Fu would have the courage to do so. Certainly, no one anticipated that Madame Shao would dare provoke Princess Consort to such an extent. Princess Consort, known for her demure and gentle demeanor, had never been witnessed losing her temper or speaking impolitely. Concern and worry spread among those present. Qiao Xian, unfazed, felt nothing. While the harsh words from Princess Consort might have caused other noble ladies to faint from embarrassment, Qiao Xian seemed prepared to engage in another 300 rounds of verbal sparring. With a blink, she regarded Princess Consort with confusion. Princess Consort, since you've never witnessed me behaving like a shrew in the market, how can you claim that I am? Pardon my lack of comprehension, but I genuinely don't understand. You, Ms. Qiao. Princess Consort screamed, her embarrassment darkening her vision. You're deliberately opposing me. How dare you? Trembling with anger, her voice cracking, Princess Consort grew even more furious. While Qiao Xian seemed unconvinced, she chose not to say anything further. Princess Consort's anger escalated. Lord Shao has such a troublesome wife, it's no wonder he can't find peace. I will teach you the meaning of virtue. Scanning the surroundings, she called out, Xiaoxing, come here. The palace maid named Xiaoxing assessed the situation in front of everyone. Forcing herself to remain composed, she walked forward with a stiff posture, head lowered, and a wildly beating heart. She silently prayed that it wasn't what she feared. Princess Consort addressed Qiao Xian coldly, Xiaoxing is my favorite attendant, gentle, quiet, talented, and knowledgeable in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. Take her home and let her serve Lord Shao from now on. Let's see how a woman should conduct herself. Xiaoxing's face paled, and fear welled up in her eyes. She didn't want to go. Madame Shao would never forgive her. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know your report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1595. Not a word is allowed to be spread. Qiao Xian, infuriated, burst into laughter. Why were these women so keen on meddling in others' affairs? It seemed they resented Shao Yunduan because he didn't have concubines like their own husbands did. To appease their insecurities, they sought to find a match for Shao Yunduan. Qiao Xian retorted, I'm a jealous woman, so I cannot comply with your request. Princess Consort, why not send her to my husband and see if he accepts her? Princess Consort widened her eyes. How dare you refuse me? I am jealous, Princess Consort. Xiaoxing's legs turned to jelly. Plop. She knelt down, unable to stand any longer. In her heart, she fervently wished for a refusal. I'll take my leave now, Princess Consort. If you need anything, you can inform my husband. As long as he doesn't mind, I don't mind either. I'll defer to his judgment. I wouldn't dare to trouble Princess Consort further. I'll take my leave. Xianxia bowed and departed slowly. Princess Consort, frustrated, glared at Xianxia, attempting to halt her. But what did it matter if she kept Xianxia there? This person was simply incorrigible. As a member of the government and the crown prince's wife, could she administer a lesson and punish her as she did with the intermediate servants in the East Palace? Clearly not. Furthermore, she would not stoop to such disgraceful and ungentlemanly behavior, enough for others to mock her behind her back. Princess Consort seethed with anger. She trembled with fury, her breath erratic. What an audacious Miss Qiao! She was excessively arrogant. Where did she find the audacity to behave this way? Princess Consort took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and spoke coldly. If word of today's event spreads, none of you will be spared. Remember, each and every one of you. The maids hastily knelt down. Yes, Princess Consort. All of you may leave. Understood. The more Princess Consort dwelled on the situation, the angrier she became. She stood motionless, seething with indignation. Xianxia exited the prince's mansion and entered the carriage. As she settled into her seat, her heart raced, and her limbs felt weak. She patted her chest, heaving a sigh of relief. She was somewhat apprehensive. She couldn't fathom where she found the courage to confront Princess Consort face to face, provoking such fury in return. While it felt gratifying at the time, the aftermath might result in a lasting feud. Upon returning home, Xianxia instructed Ai to summon her husband if there were no urgent matters. The more she contemplated the situation, the more overwhelmed she felt. She needed to confess to her husband and then shift the blame to him, allowing him to devise a solution. Ai was remarkably swift. Shao Yunduan returned promptly upon learning that Xianxia sought him. My darling husband, you're back so quickly. Xianxia greeted him with a smile. Now that she had regained composure, her limbs felt invigorated. Shao Yunduan raised an eyebrow, appraising her. Xianxia led him to sit down and said eagerly, It seems I've caused you some trouble. Seeing that she was still in a joking mood, Shao Yunduan felt relieved. He embraced her and remarked, The trouble you've caused isn't trouble at all. It's the fault of others. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1596, Strike First. Xianxia couldn't help but laugh, sighing, I was too impulsive today. I showed no mercy. With nothing to hide from Shao Yunduan, who had a good memory, Xianxia recounted everything about Princess Consort summoning her to deliver a reprimand. Shao Yunduan expressed sympathy for his daughter-in-law. It's been hard on you, he said. He sneered, adding, My wife is right. I also want to ask Princess Consort, who gave her that information, or how did she know? What right does she have to judge my wife like that? What does our family's business have to do with others? I really can't stay in the capital anymore. Xianxia laughed self-deprecatingly, Of course, that makes me so angry. Why am I not virtuous and selfish? Shao Yunduan smiled and kissed her face, praising her with an indulgent look. That is nonsense. My wife is virtuous, generous, and kind-hearted. You are the best in my heart. Covering her face, Xianxia smiled, lying in his arms. Shao Yunduan felt sorry for her but also worried she might get scared, so he kept her company and provided comfort. They laughed for a while, and Shao Yunduan was relieved when he saw that his wife was fine. Thinking about what she had told him, he couldn't help but feel angry again. Oh yes. Xianxia suddenly remembered something and said, Princess Consort is going to complain to the crown prince. I have seen through her, and God knows how much she will twist the truth. It will be bad if the crown prince believes what she says and causes some misunderstanding. Why don't you go to the crown prince? At the very least, he had to make the first move. That was why Xianxia asked someone to bring Shao Yunduan home. It was true that they were planning to leave the capital, and it was also true that they were disappointed in the crown prince. However, it did not mean that they were going to fall out with each other. Everything I said is the truth. Of course, I believe you. You are not that kind of person. Shao Yunduan smiled and squeezed Xiao Xian's hands. Don't worry, Princess Consort will not expose us. Xiao Xian was startled. Why? He explained, I don't believe she will. Think about it, Princess Consort has always been a dignified and virtuous woman who values her reputation. She will undoubtedly be angry with you, but complaining to the Crown Prince would make her seem useless and shameless. So, she won't do it. Not only will she refrain from complaining, but she will also instruct the servants around her to remain silent. Xiao Xian was left speechless. Oh, I understand a little now. Aren't they tired of living like this? Sigh. Shao Yunduan laughed. That is their own choice, don't learn from them. I hope that no matter what happens, you will confide in me. Xiao Xian chuckled. Don't worry, I am very good at that. They exchanged smiles. Shao Yunduan said, just pretend that you have never told me about this. Okay. Xiao Xian pondered for a moment and said, I am scared and regretful about such a disgraceful thing. Of course, I don't dare to say it, and I wish it had never happened. Shao Yunduan stifled a laugh and nodded seriously. Exactly. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1597, Complaint. Shao Yunduan gently caressed her face and spoke with sympathy. My poor wife, you must be frightened and filled with regret. You must be going through a terrible time. Xiao Xian couldn't help but chuckle within the warmth of his embrace. As anticipated, the princess consort refrained from airing her grievances to the crown prince. Despite her anger, she composed herself, presenting a dignified and virtuous facade when she encountered the princess consort again. Though she refrained from vocal complaints, hints of her discontent still slipped through. I attempted to console her, hoping that Ms. Qiao would influence Lord Shao upon returning home. Lord Shao values her opinion, but Ms. Qiao appears reluctant and uncooperative. I'm concerned that, I'm at a loss. I can't decipher her thoughts. I've asked her numerous questions, but she seems unwilling to share anything. Crown Prince, Ms. Qiao seems to harbor animosity towards me and the East Palace. But Lord Shao places his trust in her. With her by his side, I fear, the Crown Prince frowned, grappling with conflicting thoughts. If not for Xiao Xian's covert financial assistance, he would have sought Princess Consort's aid to exert pressure on Xiao Xian. In the end, it's not ideal for Lord Shao to be without allies. If you were to inquire, Lord Shao might not refuse. All right, no need to concern yourself with that, the Crown Prince interjected, cutting off Princess Consort. Hadn't he mentioned it jokingly? Fortunately, he only voiced it half seriously. Even if refused, it wouldn't be overly awkward. Once was sufficient. Erase the plan. Tomorrow, send some pastries to the Shao mansion and deliver them to Ms. Qiao. Have someone engage her in conversation, persuade her. She might not voice her concerns in your presence, but it could be more effective coming from the servants and maids. Princess Consort seethed with annoyance. She was tempted to flatly reject him. Today, Ms. Qiao exhibited no mercy and left in a haughty manner. Yet, in the end, Princess Consort dispatched someone to deliver pastries to Ms. Qiao the next day as a gesture of consolation and an attempt to coax her into a civil conversation. Ms. Qiao would likely revel in the notion that she was receiving an apology. The situation was undeniably exasperating. Even the Empress, noble consort, and troublesome sisters-in-law in the palace had never subjected her to such humiliation. But compelled by the Crown Prince's statement, she found no grounds to refuse. Yes, Crown Prince, I understand. Through gritted teeth and considerable frustration, Princess Consort managed to force these words out in a tone that resonated across the entire area. While Xiao Xian had initially intended to visit Lu Fu, Qing Lian, and Xiao Qiao the next day, Princess Consort had preemptively sent someone. Upon their arrival, Auntie Liang and the two maids were welcomed, expressing gratitude for the 2 boxes of snacks. Xianxia couldn't decipher Princess Consort's intentions. One thing remained certain, her husband's intuition was correct. Princess Consort refrained from escalating the situation. Had she intended to do so, today's envoy would not have delivered snacks but demanded an apology. Expecting Auntie Liang to depart after offering snacks, Xianxia was surprised when she revealed that Princess Consort desired a private conversation. Instructing Wuxia and Qiao to stand guard at the door, the two accompanying maids awaited outside the parlor. As a witness to the events of the previous day and Princess Consort's confidant, Auntie Liang did not extend a warm welcome to Xianxia. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1598, Mrs. Shao is reasoning. The situation remained unchanged. Pride emanated unabated, and her words lacked any semblance of courtesy. Princess Consort seemed to be seething with anger from the previous day, as evidenced by Auntie Liang's unapologetic revelation. Employing both gentle persuasion and coercive tactics, she made clear the repercussions if Xianxia failed to prevent Shao Yunduan from departing the capital. His career would crumble, and Xianxia would bear the blame. Auntie Liang spared no criticism, accusing Xianxia of pettiness, selfishness, and callousness. Despite being unscathed, she insisted on feigning distress, jeopardizing her husband's future. In Auntie Liang's eyes, she was nothing more than a foolish and unruly woman. Infuriated by these words, Xianxia scoffed, retorting, "My well-being is a result of my own capabilities, not someone else's mercy. Why shouldn't I prioritize myself? While my life may not hold the same value as Princess Consort's own grandson, I still value it." Auntie Liang's response was icy. "You should refrain from discussing such matters in front of your superiors. Madame Shao has resided in the capital long enough to grasp this basic principle." Despite her shorter tenure in the capital, Xianxia shot back, "I've heard of the principle that a prince and a commoner face equal consequences. Have you not? Your emphasis on seniority doesn't grant the authority to take another's life. Dare you assert that publicly, Auntie Liang? Why bother with the Ministry of Justice, Great Justice Temple, and the Heavenly Mansion? If superiority is the only measure, disputes could be resolved by determining who is more eminent." Auntie Liang erupted, "Madame Shao, you are being unreasonable." Dismissing her with disdain, Xianxia retorted, "I stand on the right side of reason. What about you? Besides hounding me, what else do you comprehend?" Auntie Liang trembled in response. Xianxia exuded an air of arrogance. She raised the corner of her eyes, narrowing them at Auntie Liang. "Auntie Liang, do you have anything else to say? If not, please leave." "No. Even if I did, explaining it to Madame Shao would be futile." Auntie Liang sneered, locking eyes with Xianxia. "I will report everything you said to Princess Consort." Xianxia nodded, unwavering. "Then, Auntie Liang, you must keep your promise." Auntie Liang found herself at a loss for words. Too arrogant. Unbearably arrogant. How could she? Xianxia remained composed. "Avoid exaggeration, stick to the truth. Any deviation is on your conscience." Unable to endure any longer, Auntie Liang snorted heavily and left, wearing a furious expression. Xianxia paid her no mind. Once Auntie Liang departed, she gathered Wuxia, Qiao, Mianmian, and Ai and set off for Xianxia's residence in the north of the city. Having received the address from Xianxia and the others, locating their destination wasn't challenging. However, as the road grew dirtier, bumpier, and more disorderly, and the surroundings turned increasingly dilapidated, Xianxia was taken aback. She hadn't anticipated such squalor beneath the emperor's jurisdiction. This served as a stark reminder that the past and present shared similarities. Regardless of a city's development and prosperity, impoverished individuals persisted in the lower classes, and the areas where they congregated often went overlooked. Not only was the locale unkempt and chaotic, but the roads were also in terrible condition, resembling a maze. Ramshackle, short shanties dotted the landscape, highlighting the stark disparity within the city. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1599. Visit. Perhaps due to the rarity of carriages traversing this area, the deeper they ventured, the more curious onlookers gathered. Many children trailed behind them, their laughter and screams filling the air. After navigating through a labyrinthine small alley, Ai guided the carriage past two sizable puddles, ultimately halting in front of a large, run-down courtyard. Two robust locust trees stood outside the courtyard, their trunks resembling a tight embrace. The red bricks, half the height of a person, formed a dilapidated wall. Moss clung to the base, and the outer surface exhibited mottled patterns, revealing a grayish-white decay. Wind and rain had eroded the original courtyard doors, now reduced to shambles. Though patched up, the wooden boards looked even more weathered, emphasizing the overall dilapidation. Approaching, Xianxia gently knocked on the door. It creaked open slightly. Surprised, she called inside, "Is anyone here? Does Mr. Xianxia reside in this place?" A stir echoed within the yard. Soon, an elderly woman cautiously opened the door, scrutinizing Xianxia with cloudy eyes. She inquired, "Miss, who are you?" Several children, both boys and girls, clustered behind the old lady. Clad in worn, patched clothing, they appeared small and frail. The oldest seemed no more than 6 or 7 years old, while the youngest was a mere 3 years old. Timid yet curious gazes met Lixia's. Shyly, they averted their eyes, offering tentative and bashful smiles. Xianxia reciprocated with a hurried smile and explained, "We are friends of Mr. Xiang's old master and madam. We had agreed to visit Mr. Xiang 2 days ago." "Is he at home?" the old lady exclaimed. "Ah." Then, with a smile, she said, "You're little Jing's friend? Come in, come in. Yan, Jing, come back with Uncle Zhang." The two children nodded and scurried away. Several more elderly men emerged from the house, inquiring about the purpose of their visit. Qiao extended a warm greeting, a smile lighting up her face as she entered with Xianxia and Ai. Initially a bit apprehensive, the elderly men quickly eased their nerves in the presence of Qiao's amiable demeanor and gentle tone. They graciously invited her to take a seat in the room. The courtyard, initially spacious, now teemed with structures. Besides the mud houses, there were wooden buildings with thatched roofs, exhibiting signs of age and decay. Despite the limited space, the small area accommodated various crops like garlic sprouts, green onions, and coriander. Understandably, with over 70 people residing here, the crowded conditions necessitated such construction. "We don't have much here, and the place is a bit messy. Madam Shao, please forgive us," one of the elders apologized. "It's absolutely fine, don't worry. You're very welcome." Qiao reassured them. Having anticipated the sizable group, Qiao had brought ample food supplies. The 3 baskets unloaded from the wagon were brimming with pork, mutton, eggs, carrots, cabbages, winter melons, tofu, dried beans, dried mushrooms, various snacks, fresh apples, pears, dates, and more. Additionally, 10 live chickens and 30 caddies of rice and noodles rounded out the provisions. Expressing profound gratitude, the elders conveyed their thanks, while the children's eyes sparkled with desire as they gazed at the array of offerings. Qiao, maintaining her warm demeanor, instructed Mianmian to open a packet of peanuts and sesame candy for everyone to enjoy. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1600. Proposal. The children hesitated, glancing at the elders for approval. Amused, the elders encouraged them, "Go on, take it. Thank Madam Shao." Only then did the children break into cheers, expressing their gratitude softly. Xianxia and his brothers, who happened to be at a warehouse a few streets away transporting goods, quickly delegated their tasks to rush back upon hearing the news. Despite a prompt return, it took more than half an hour for them to reach their residence. Madam Shao. Xianxia, having washed up and changed his clothes, entered the hall with an apologetic expression. "I'm sorry. I had no idea you were coming today." Xian reassured him with a smile, I understand that you're busy. Waiting a bit longer is no trouble at all. Brother Zheng, you're very welcome. Zheng smiled and proceeded to introduce Xian to the elders. Aware that Xian was the same Ms. Qiao who had assisted their children a few days ago, the elders expressed their gratitude with smiles. After a brief exchange of pleasantries, it became evident that Zheng had matters to discuss with Xian, prompting everyone else to take their leave. Madam Shao, thank you so much. Assuming Xian and Shao Yunduan's visit was merely a formality, Zheng was pleasantly surprised by Xian's presence and the generous offering she brought. Xian smiled, surveying the room, and addressed Zheng straightforwardly, I can see that you're a straightforward man, so I won't beat around the bush. It must be challenging for you to lead such a large family. Zheng wore a bitter smile. Among the group were the disabled, the sick, the elderly, the young, the frail, the women, and the children, all already burdened with hardships. With no family background to support them, their sorrow was palpable. Since our paths have crossed, I have an offer for you. Would you be open to considering it? Had it been General Sun or the Crown Prince, Zheng would have promptly declined. However, contemplating Xian's proposal, he hesitated before responding, please, go on. Having witnessed Xian's compassion and equality in their treatment, particularly towards the rescued children, Zheng sensed a genuine sincerity. Xian smiled, elaborating, we own a farm in Cloudwater Town with over 200 mu, and I am planning to acquire several hundred more mu. The land requires cultivation and care. If Brother Zheng is willing, why not join us? For us, matters of public and private concern are private. We'll provide you with housing, accommodation, farming tools, employ you for cultivation under a contract, and ensure monthly remuneration. Additionally, we'll allocate 3 mu of land for your personal kitchen garden. You can grow a variety of vegetables for personal consumption. If there are leftovers, you can even raise chickens and ducks. What do you think? If you're interested, we can discuss the details later. Zheng chuckled, surprised that Madame Shao, as an official's wife, possessed such practicality and knowledge of raising chickens and ducks. Nevertheless, he couldn't deny the appeal of the offer. Temptation tugged at him. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1601, Tempted. Despite receiving 300 taels of silver from General Sun and 200 taels each from the Crown Prince's and the Fourth Prince's residences, they had used a substantial portion to procure medicines for their tortured brothers. The expenses included high-quality ginseng and Ganoderma lucidum, totaling over 100 taels. Remaining cautious, they refrained from touching the remaining silver, preserving it for future herbal remedies and the upcoming winter. Their lack of business knowledge deterred them from taking financial risks. Madame Shao's proposal offered a long-term solution, providing not just a place to settle down but also stable employment. Furthermore, the promise of 3 mu of land for vegetable cultivation and raising chickens and ducks was particularly enticing. Aunt Zhang and Aunt Lu, who had always harbored dreams of poultry farming, now saw an opportunity to realize their aspirations. To be honest, your suggestion is truly tempting. Are there any specific requirements? Zheng inquired. Xian, smiling at the chance to help, responded, I have no special requirements. We cultivate a variety of crops each year, potatoes, watermelons, cantaloupes, and even turnips and cabbages in autumn. Your responsibilities would include farming, weeding, watering, and harvesting according to the seasonal demands. The children, being young, can attend school if they wish. We'll cover half the expenses, and the other half should be sufficient. As for wages, men aged 15 to 65 receive 3 taels of silver monthly, while women receive 2 taels. For those between 12 and 15, the monthly wage is 2 taels. Those below 12 are not included. In addition, on the 15th of August every year, and during the Spring Festival, we distribute rewards. Everyone receives a minimum of 2 taels of silver, along with provisions such as rice, flour, oil, cloth, and more. Every year, 2 sets of clothing, shoes, and socks for both spring and winter are also provided. This arrangement applies to everyone aged 12 to 65. Xiao, however, did not extend these benefits to younger children and senile old men. It wasn't a matter of affordability, but rather an understanding that excessive generosity might not evoke gratitude but instead breed greed. It would also foster dissatisfaction among those who put in the effort to earn their wages. Not everyone might harbor such feelings, but the majority likely would. Qiao held the belief that individuals like Xianxia and Lu Fu were good-hearted, yet she acknowledged the potential for less virtuous thoughts among them. With the offered conditions, Qiao believed that as long as those capable of working exerted themselves, it would suffice to support others. Xianxia found the proposal increasingly tempting. He saw nothing amiss with Qiao's arrangement, on the contrary, he deemed it highly reasonable. Recognizing that Xiao owed them nothing and had extended a rare opportunity, he was more than willing to consider it. Your terms are already very generous, much better than our current situation. Xianxia expressed gratitude with a smile and a sigh. I thank you, sister-in-law. I'll discuss it with everyone tonight. Is Brother Yunduan at home tomorrow? I plan to visit him, or if the postnatal is fine too. Qiao, pleased with Xianxia's positive response, felt reassured. If he found the proposal favorable, the others would likely share the sentiment. It was genuinely a beneficial offer. All right, I'll eagerly await the good news from you, Brother Zhang. Why don't we meet tomorrow? In fact, our manor was initially looking to hire workers. It's not a special arrangement for you, Brother Zhang. Please don't overthink it, Xiao suggested with a warm smile. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know your report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1602, Promise. Xianxia expressed his gratitude with a grateful smile and a nod. Regardless, I must thank you, sister-in-law. As Qiao took her leave, several elderly individuals and children gathered around her. Xianxia, wearing a smile, remarked, "This is a positive development. Let's discuss it further tonight." For now, he chose to keep his words concise. Verbal explanations could be easily misconstrued, and it would prove challenging to clarify later on. It seemed prudent to wait until everyone had spoken their minds. Being trusted by everyone, Xianxia's affirmation carried weight. The anticipation among the group was palpable, especially among those like Wu Guan, Lu Changming, Lu Fu, and Qing Lian who had faith in Qiao and Shao Yunduan. The positive impression of Qiao further solidified as the elders and children interacted with her. In the evening, as those who had made up their minds gathered in the courtyard, the children huddled together eagerly awaiting the news. Xianxia conveyed the details of Qiao's proposal. As expected, the atmosphere became joyous upon hearing the news. Wu Guan, Lu Changming, Lu Fu, and Qing Lian, staunch supporters of Qiao and Shao Yunduan, spoke in favor. Importantly, the current living conditions, grim and oppressive, fueled the collective desire for change. While the mutual support of the community provided solace, the daily struggle left them yearning for something more. Now, presented with a potential path to hope, the temptation was undeniable. Despite the challenges, it seemed no worse than their current situation. The prospect of improvement was too enticing to ignore. Wu Guan and the others, familiar with Shao Yunduan and Xiao, grew anxious, fearing that someone might miss the opportunity to visit the Shao mansion. They urged Xianxia to make the visit the following morning. Brother Yunduan and sister-in-law won't deceive us. There's no need for that. They are being kind. We just have to work hard and not let them down. That's right. This is a rare opportunity. If we miss it, I'm afraid it won't come again. Auntie Qiao is so gentle and good. I hope to see her often in the future. Brother Zhang, you must agree. This is good for all of us. Xianxia, already enticed by the idea, observed everyone sharing the same positive opinion. He nodded with a smile, saying, "In that case, I'll go over and inform them tomorrow. If we can settle it, we'll do so as soon as possible." That is great. All right, all right. Cheers erupted, resonating like the joy of the new year. Witnessing the collective happiness, Jianghu felt a sense of relief, as if a heavy burden had been lifted from his shoulders. He couldn't help but laugh. Early the next morning, Jianghu, accompanied by Wu Guan and Lu Changming, visited the Shao residence. Although Qing Lian and Xiao expressed their desire to go, and other children wanted to join, Jianghu decided to go alone. Having informed Shao Yunduan about the matter the previous day, Shao Yunduan had taken a day off. In the morning, Jianghu and the others arrived to convey their gratitude and acceptance of Shao Yunduan's goodwill. Qiao Xian, brimming with smiles, and the couple began discussing the details. Observing Lu Fu and Qing Lian, Qiao Xian noted that Jianghu had instilled good values in the children. The youngsters, despite their worn clothes, had made an effort to appear tidy. Living in the dilapidated slums, their efforts to maintain cleanliness and order in the crowded courtyard did not go unnoticed. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1603, Coercion. They were grappling with poverty and despair, yet they faced the world with smiles and kindness. Qiao Xian observed no signs of extreme bitterness, hatred, cynicism, cunningness, or deceit in them. These individuals carried their own stories and had reached this point due to helplessness. The innocent eyes and pure hearts of the children moved Qiao Xian deeply. While she couldn't be their savior, she could extend help to those destined for it. Rather than merely providing financial support to 70 to 80 people, Qiao Xian believed in the principle of teaching them to fish, not just giving them fish. Recognizing that the manor needed additional manpower, Qiao Xian saw an opportunity to arrange for them to work there. Trusting Jianghu, she considered him capable of overseeing the manor in their absence. As for Xianxia, leaving with them was a natural course of action. Qiao Xian had limited personnel under her, and they were essential. During their discussions, Qiao Xian involved Xianxia and Qing Yan in the decision-making process. Given the shortage of housing in the manor, Xianxia's insights into suitable locations proved invaluable. After an entire morning of discussions and scheduling an appointment with Xianxia to bring the group to the manor the next day, Jianghu and the others departed. Further details would be ironed out between Xianxia and Jianghu, with those still undecided communicating their expenditures to Qiao Xian. Shao Yunduan requested that Qiao Xian refrain from going out for the next few days. Gradually, whispers of gossip circulated from the outside. Allegedly, due to Lord Shao's desire for release, Princess Consort sent Madame Shao to the prince's mansion, reprimanding her for not being virtuous enough to care for her husband. The insinuation was that Lord Shao's thoughts wouldn't have strayed if Madame Shao had been more attentive, leading to accusations of jealousy and disrespect. In summary, Madame Shao faced severe scolding from Princess Consort, leaving her trembling and pale as she exited the mansion. Upon hearing the rumors, the recovered Auntie Fu reported to Princess Consort. Startled by the news, Princess Consort's initial concern was whether some maids had leaked the information. Consequently, she summoned all the maids and interrogated them. Frightened, the maids knelt and begged for mercy, vehemently swearing not to utter a word to anyone. Princess Consort, known for her strictness with the crown prince and other noble ladies, had left everyone too terrified to speak when Madame Shao had angered her. Her resolve not to let Madame Shao off was unwavering. Boldly reminding Princess Consort, Auntie Liang voiced her concerns. Princess Consort, we don't have the courage to do that, but it's hard to predict what Madame Shao might do. Others, finding someone to shift blame to, echoed this sentiment. Princess Consort frowned, contemplating the situation. It hadn't occurred to her before that Madame Shao might not keep this incident a secret. In her perspective, Qiao Xian would want to keep the matter private. Why would she disclose it to anyone? Wouldn't she feel embarrassed to publicize it? Auntie Fu sighed inwardly, gently attempting to persuade Princess Consort. Princess Consort, Auntie Liang has been your loyal servant for many years and would never dare to defy you. However, in this world, keeping secrets between two people is challenging. Perhaps Madame Shao's maid might unintentionally say something. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know it report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1604, Anger Princess Consort nodded slowly, acknowledging the possibility. It made sense to her that the leak might have come from within Madame Xiao's household. With a sneer, she commented, Miss Qiao is so incompetent that she can't even manage her maids. Auntie Fu sighed internally, wondering why Princess Consort was fixating on this matter. Princess Consort, if it's a misunderstanding, why not ask them to leave? Auntie Fu suggested. Leave. Princess Consort commanded, prompting everyone to express their thanks and hastily depart, relieved to escape the situation. As the room cleared, Auntie Fu hesitated before speaking. Princess Consort, the sudden spread of this news is unusual. I didn't dare hide it from you, and the rumors aren't favorable. This doesn't seem normal. Unperturbed, Princess Consort sneered, since the rumor has spread, let it be. It's not far from the truth anyway. Miss Qiao isn't exactly virtuous or free from jealousy, is she? Let her feel the repercussions of being feared by others. I had intended to save her some face, but she probably wouldn't be appreciative even if I did. Curiously, she inquired, what are the rumors circulating outside? Auntie Fu sighed ruefully. Even if Princess Consort hadn't asked, she would have had to explain. She recounted the gossip, revealing that there were murmurs about Lord Shao intending to depart the capital for training, a common occurrence. However, the Crown Prince opposed this idea, leading to tension between them. Subsequently, Princess Consort summoned Madame Shao, aiming to dissuade Lord Shao from leaving the capital and remaining an official there. Despite Madame Shao's loyalty to her husband, Princess Consort resorted to force and humiliation, pressuring her to halt Lord Shao's departure. Princess Consort's actions aimed to manipulate Madame Shao into halting Lord Shao's plans by exploiting their marital bond. To the extent that when Madame Shao departed, she wept and had to be assisted into the carriage, Princess Consort's countenance darkened. Auntie Fu shared more detailed information, further fueling Princess Consort's anger. Nonsense. It's all nonsense. When did I beat, scold, or humiliate her? What threats? Complete nonsense. I am the one who's angered by her. Unaware of the events of that day, Auntie Fu found it implausible that Xiao Xian could commit such audacious acts. Ordered by Princess Consort to remain silent, Auntie Liang couldn't shed light on the situation. Seeking clarification, Auntie Fu asked, Princess Consort, what did Madame Shao say that day? Annoyed, Princess Consort frowned. It's not a pleasant matter, I don't wish to discuss it further. Auntie Fu found herself at a loss for words. After a pause, she raised a concern, Princess Consort, I don't know if the Crown Prince will inquire. Princess Consort's eyelids twitched, sensing trouble. Indeed, the positive efforts had backfired. The Crown Prince confronted her angrily, demanding, what did the Princess Consort say to Miss Qiao? Why are the rumors so damning? Princess Consort, you always value your reputation. What happened this time? Princess Consort's face turned purple, and she felt on the verge of tears. This humiliation was hard to bear, especially from the Crown Prince, who was the exception to others being rude to her. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1605, Crown Prince's Cold Heart because she cared too much. She cared about the Crown Prince's evaluation of her. She cared about her image in the Crown Prince's heart. She feared the existence of any flaws. I didn't say anything. I explained it to Madame Shao in detail. I told her that Lord Shao's future would be much better if he stayed in the capital. I was just trying to persuade Madame Shao to convince Lord Shao to give up. I don't know how it ended up like that. Crown Prince, don't you know what kind of person I am? The Crown Prince stared at her, his expression unreadable, leaving uncertainty about whether he believed her. Suddenly, he inquired, you reprimanded Miss Qiao for being selfish and jealous, and even claimed she was kidnapped. Is that true? Princess Consort froze, contemplating a rebuttal. Crown Prince continued, Officer Shao has already informed me, Princess Consort. Don't deceive me. If you lie to me too, I don't know if there is anyone I can trust. A pang of anguish gripped Princess Consort's heart. She grappled with mixed feelings of relief that the Crown Prince still trusted her and sorrow over his questioning. Yet, she couldn't deny the accusation. Ms. Qiao infuriated me, so you did say that? Yes. But you can't blame me for that. Ms. Qiao is so infuriating. She doesn't care about my dignity as the Princess Consort at all, and what she said is really hurtful. Crown Prince, you know that I have always been kind to others, but I don't know why Ms. Qiao is so arrogant. This is the first time I've been so angry. The Crown Prince remained skeptical. What did she say? Reluctantly, Princess Consort disclosed the details, concealing her vulnerability in the process. Princess Consort's face flushed red, and the Crown Prince grew visibly agitated as he recounted the embarrassing details. Ms. Qiao had indeed crossed a line. In one aspect, Princess Consort was right. Ms. Qiao truly didn't comprehend the nuances of societal hierarchy. Suddenly, it dawned on the Crown Prince that Ms. Qiao and Officer Shao had always been close. If Ms. Qiao dared to make such statements, could it be Officer Shao's influence? Most likely, the realization struck him hard. The Crown Prince felt a chill in his heart, a profound sadness. It signified that Officer Shao's loyalty had wavered. He was no longer devoted to serving the Crown Prince. The Crown Prince felt a mixture of sorrow and desolation. Ms. Qiao was unharmed, her reputation intact. Was it not proper for him to offer solace himself? Her unyielding stance stemmed from this. His fourth brother had saved his grandson's life. How could he turn a blind eye? If he failed to act, what would be left of his integrity? This could have been a situation with a favorable resolution. Why did it have to unravel like this? Princess Consort observed the Crown Prince, discerning his troubled state. It seemed that his thoughts were not solely focused on her, he harbored reservations about Xiao Xian as well. Exhaling quietly, she ventured, Crown Prince, there's a saying among the people, one must not stay in the intermediate. Since Lord Shao is resolute about leaving, why not grant his wish? He ventured out, faced a setback, and naturally, he pondered the benefits of remaining in the capital, considering your earnest attempts to convince him. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1606, Young Master Xie's Thoughts. By then, you can devise a plan to bring him back. Currently, he's engulfed in anger, and Ms. Qiao not only refuses to calm him down but exacerbates the situation. Lord Shao, being sentimental, becomes even more resentful. Regardless of Lord Shao's rationality, those around him fueling the turmoil can't be restrained. The more you try to convince him, the more repulsed Lord Shao will become. In that case, what's the use of retaining him, Crown Prince? The Crown Prince hesitated, swayed by Princess Consort's persuasions. However, parting with Shao Yunduan remained a heavy decision for him. He fully understood the invaluable assistance Shao Yunduan could provide if he stayed in the intermediate. Once he left the capital, it would be awkward to request financial aid, and he would inevitably incur substantial expenses in the future. Even the mere contemplation of this dilemma gave him a headache. Observing the Crown Prince's internal struggle, Princess Consort seized the opportunity to continue persuading with a smile. Even if Lord Shao departs, it's acceptable. Isn't Mr. Xia from the Xia family in the intermediate capital? Frankly, Mr. Xia and my nephew are growing close, forming a tight bond. My sister-in-law visited yesterday and discussed this matter. Young Master Xia appears to harbor aspirations of becoming an official. Given his talent, passing the imperial examinations in the upcoming year is undoubtedly feasible. If he's willing, even before formal appointment, he can still render service to you, Crown Prince. Temptation flickered in the Crown Prince's eyes, and a glimmer of hope diffused through his anxious heart. The public was aware of Xie Jingrong's exceptional abilities. His sudden arrival in the capital and burgeoning closeness to Princess Consort's nephew were conspicuous. It seemed evident he genuinely aspired to attain official status. This was rational. Youthful exuberance often disregards accomplishments. His status and aptitude instilled confidence in him. However, with a few more years of age and maturity, Xie Jingrong yearned to contribute positively and accumulate merits. It was the orthodox path. There must have been some understanding or realization on his part. If Xie Jingrong could remain after Shao Yunduan's departure, it was not an implausible idea. Moreover, as far as the crown prince knew, both Shao Yunduan and Xie Jingrong hailed from Yuzhang and shared an amicable relationship, making it even more favorable. Ill-considerate. Princess Consort beamed with joy. Certainly. Once you've decided, I'll convey the message to my family. With Xie Jingrong being recommended to the crown prince by her family, the crown prince began to hold him in high regard. The more Princess Consort contemplated the prospect, the more delighted she became. The crown prince nodded and added, "Arrange for someone to speak with Miss Qiao and offer her a reward. Let everyone see that the rumors should cease." Although Princess Consort felt repulsed, she nodded with a forced smile. Later, when Xiao Xian visited the mansion as a guest, the rumors were effortlessly dispelled. However, once the crown prince left, Princess Consort expressed her grievances to Auntie Fu. Auntie Fu reassured her with a smile, "Princess Consort, you're overthinking it. Madame Shao wouldn't dare to bring it up again, so just pretend it never happened. You're showing great magnanimity." Although Princess Consort often liked to display her magnanimity, she hesitated to do so when facing Qiao Xian. Frowning with a sense of disdain, she muttered, "Let it be." Unforeseen by Princess Consort, it proved challenging to invite Xiao Xian to the mansion at all. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know your report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1607, Claiming Illness. Xiao Xian feigned illness, experiencing dizziness, insomnia, and fatigue, as she rested in bed. Princess Consort was infuriated. She refused to believe that Xiao Xian was genuinely unwell. It seemed like a deliberate act of defiance against her authority. As the Princess Consort, she had taken the initiative to extend kindness, but it felt like Xiao Xian was now throwing it back in her face. That woman is insufferably arrogant. Lord Shao must be blind. Auntie Fu, though also displeased, attempted to calm Princess Consort down. "Should I go and talk to Madame Shao?" Princess Consort sneered, dismissing the idea. "No need. I won't lower myself to beg her. Let her revel in her arrogance and ruin Lord Shao's future. What good can she possibly achieve? She'll come to me in tears one day." Auntie Fu sighed inwardly, suspecting that there might be more to Madame Shao's actions than she knew. However, Princess Consort kept her silence, leaving no room for further inquiries. Determined to engage in a prolonged conflict with Madame Shao, Princess Consort pondered the uncertain future. The Crown Prince, displeased by Qiao Xian's presumed heirs, resolved to fulfill Officer Shao's wish. He had already severed ties, so why bother retaining him? Upon the Crown Prince's eventual release, Shao Yunduan felt a sense of relief and gratitude. Looking ahead to the New Year and Spring Festival, they anticipated departing the capital. Observing Shao Yunduan's apparent lack of reluctance, the Crown Prince's discontent deepened. He started questioning whether the loyalty he had experienced before was merely an illusion. These thoughts left the Crown Prince disheartened, prompting him to decide to ignore Shao Yunduan henceforth. Shao Yunduan was unfazed by the Crown Prince's indifference. Upon arriving home, he excitedly shared the positive news with Qiao Xian. Their joy was palpable. Qiao Xian, in particular, was thrilled, sporting a radiant smile. They envisioned a prosperous life as local leaders. Amused yet sympathetic, Shao Yunduan gently caressed her shoulders, his eyes filled with a fond smile. "Had I known leaving the capital would bring you such happiness, would have suggested it sooner." Qiao Xian replied with a grin, "It's never too late, and the capital is good too. We've experienced life here before, it'll be even better elsewhere." Shao Yunduan chuckled, "You're right." Sharing an affectionate gaze, they hooked eyes, and Shao Yunduan, with a playful gesture, lifted her chin, leaning in to kiss her lips. Shao Yunduan's new appointment was soon confirmed, he would serve as the prefect of An's province in Huaishi. This location, however, was less than ideal. An's province, situated on the border of Huaishi, Yuzhong, and northern Yi provinces, was renowned for its rugged landscapes. It featured towering mountains, winding rivers, vast wild forests, and expansive desolate swamps. This natural setting made it a haven for outlaws, bandits, and thieves, granting them a protective haven where they could act with impunity. Local officials dared not interfere, going so far as to offer discreet gifts to influential gangs during festive occasions to prevent them from causing trouble. This tactic aimed to safeguard political achievements and avoid retribution from higher authorities. Although the imperial court had conducted large-scale bandit suppression operations a decade ago, the outcomes were less than satisfactory. Small-time offenders were caught, while the major players remained at large and unscathed. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1608, Unruly Zone. After the military intervention, the bandits in An's province took advantage of the chaos to engage in infighting and territorial annexation. What emerged from the ashes were three formidable gangs that solidified their dominance, their influence remaining unchallenged. In such a lawless environment, collusion between affluent families and the bandits, both overt and covert, became commonplace. Cooperation was deemed essential for survival and mutual benefit, a symbiotic relationship where both sides thrived. The so-called bandit suppression operation not only tarnished the face of the imperial court but also eroded its dignity and credibility. The emperor, infuriated by the failure, demoted the high-ranking officials in the intermediate court who had played a role in the operation. Numerous local officials faced punishments, ranging from job loss to exile, depending on the severity of their involvement. Since then, the An's prefect position had become a dreaded assignment. Officials assumed their roles with solemn faces, eagerly seeking opportunities to depart. No one completed a full term, let alone contemplated re-election. Upon learning that Shao Yunduan was assigned to such a challenging post, his peers at the Ministry of Revenue reveled in his misfortune. Some envious officials even taunted him. Crown Prince, too, was taken aback by the news. It was evident that someone, likely his fourth brother, aimed to thwart Shao Yunduan. The animosity between them was well known, and the fourth brother harbored a deep-seated wish for misfortune to befall Shao Yunduan, while the second and third royal brothers harbored their own grievances about seeing someone else succeed. They tended to maintain a low profile. Their usual strategy involved subtly fanning the flames when conflicts arose, providing clandestine assistance without taking direct action. Initially, the crown prince contemplated intervening on Shao Yunduan's behalf, seeking to change his assignment. However, influenced by the counsel of his advisors, he decided against it. The prevailing sentiment was that it wasn't worthwhile to extend a favor to Shao Yunduan, opting instead to wait for him to come seeking assistance, a move that would be etched in his memory. Confident that Shao Yunduan would inevitably turn to him for help, the crown prince believed that An's province was an undesirable post that even the most competent officials would avoid. Therefore, Shao Yunduan would surely be willing to seek assistance. The crown prince envisioned Shao Yunduan approaching him, allowing for a diplomatic solution. He intended to convince Shao Yunduan to stay and, if he felt uneasy about An's province, offer an alternative role as a county magistrate, with a promise of returning to the capital within a year. However, Shao Yunduan had no intention of seeking the crown prince's assistance. Some of the crown prince's staff, attempting to provoke him, confronted Shao Yunduan. They questioned his purported capabilities and dared him to demonstrate true governance in An's province by eradicating the bandit menace. Shao Yunduan saw this as an opportunity to showcase his genuine abilities and not succumb to hypocrisy or the theft of unearned prestige. While the crown prince maintained a high opinion of Shao Yunduan, expecting him to eventually seek aid, Shao Yunduan had no plans to kneel at the crown prince's residence, begging for assistance. He intended to confront the challenges of An's province head-on, displaying authentic leadership and administrative prowess. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1609, Not bad. Should Shao Yunduan resort to begging the crown prince now? The urgency of the situation weighed on Xiao Yunduan's mind. Delaying any further could complicate matters, making it harder for both him and the crown prince. Despite considering the advice nonsensical, Xiao Yunduan dismissed it. The two provocateurs, feeling a sense of accomplishment, believed they had touched a nerve in Xiao Yunduan. Frustrated by his lack of response, they resorted to complimenting each other and congratulating themselves on their supposed cleverness. However, they remained concerned that Xiao Yunduan might not take the bait. What if he resisted their attempts to provoke him and sought help from the crown prince? The crown prince held him in high regard, and such a request might receive favorable attention. To prevent Xiao Yunduan from staying in the capital, they devised a plan. A decision was made to dispatch someone to monitor Xiao Yunduan closely. If he did approach the crown prince for assistance, they would intervene midway, preventing him from proceeding. Given Xiao Yunduan's scholarly background, they presumed he wouldn't act shamelessly or retract his decision. If he had requested release, he should follow through. With a sense of hesitation and worry, Xiao Yunduan disclosed this situation to Qiao Xian. Unfazed, she became even more intrigued. The prospect of an unregulated area with vast territory excited her. Learning about the expansive pools and endless green mountains only heightened her enthusiasm. The mention of potential dangers from bandits didn't deter her, on the contrary, it fueled her excitement. While it posed a significant threat to others, for Qiao Xian, it was an invitation to explore her world, especially within the depths of the forest. She assured Xiao Yunduan, "Don't be scared, hubby. Ai, Sun Bai, and Sun Qian are all going with us, right? They are all very capable people. After we leave the capital, we can recruit a dozen individuals and have Sun Bai and Sun Qian assist in their training. Then we can hire 20 or 30 competent escorts. We'll be able to establish ourselves there. Husband, as a local official appointed by the imperial court, those bandits might not dare to act recklessly. Let's maintain a facade of civility initially. Once we understand their background, we can plan strategically. No need to worry about lacking the capability to deal with them." Xiao Yunduan chuckled upon hearing her words. He held Xiao Xian and sighed, "Good wife." He had initially worried about her fear, but it was clear that he had underestimated her courage. Now completely relieved, he continued, "In that case, we're on the same page." After a moment, Xiao Yunduan held her and declared, "My wife and I share the same thoughts. Ai, Sun Bai, and Sun Qian are here, and we can train about 20 servants. That should be sufficient. I'll write a letter immediately and ask Meng Wanfu for assistance. I'll borrow a few people from him." Qiao Xian's eyes brightened, and she remarked with a smile, "You are so thoughtful, husband. General Meng's men are much more reliable." While they could afford to hire an escort, predicting people's intentions, especially in An's province's mixed environment, posed challenges. In a place where power dictated the final say, money wasn't always the most trustworthy motivator. Hiring an escort might be futile if someone could be swayed by a bribe. Despite the favor owed to Meng Wanfu, requesting his assistance ensured reliability from military personnel who understood the gravity of the situation and wouldn't succumb to bribery by bandits, thus preventing any potential regrets. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know your report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1610, Kindness. The couple excitedly discussed and joyfully planned their approach to An's province when Zhao Shu arrived. Upon seeing Qiao Xian and Xiao Yunduan, Zhao Shu couldn't help but express his concerns. "Fifth brother, sister-in-law, why persist in being officials? It's too much. We have enough money, why not just relax and enjoy life? Why subject ourselves to such a destitute place overrun by bandits? Let's abandon this pursuit. Just give the word, and they'll handle everything." As long as the funds were in place, Zhao Shu believed this matter could be resolved. He found the idea of venturing to that undesirable location absurd. To him, it seemed like a ploy to send one's own head willingly. A poor official with no status or background from an obscure lineage might have no choice, but the Shao family had alternatives. Upon learning the news, Zhao Shu was on the verge of infuriation. Wasn't it said that the crown prince highly esteemed fifth brother? Clearly, that wasn't the case. Pushing him into such a challenging situation, it became evident that the crown prince was heartless and deliberately creating obstacles for him. In essence, he wanted fifth brother to remain in the capital to exploit him fully. In that case, they might as well not play along. Shao Yinduan shot him a glance but refrained from commenting. Zhao Shu's audacity was apparent. She wasn't sure when he started addressing Shao Yunduan as fifth brother, as if insisting on his rank. However, Shao Yunduan didn't bother to correct him. It was almost amusing to see Zhao Shu's thinly veiled intentions. Why else would he label him as stupid and discourage him from going to An's province? If it were truly an unbearable place, Shao Yunduan would naturally find a way to return. He refrained from any action, implying that he possessed the strength to confront challenges. Such thoughts were shared not only by Shao Yunduan but also by his wife. Could it be that their perspectives were inferior to his? The absurdity of it all warranted silence. Making noise would only risk becoming a source of mockery. Yet, there he was, panicking and squawking like a chicken. Why would Tao Tao like someone like him? Indeed, Shao Yunduan and Xiao Xian had inquired about this matter by sending a letter to their family before departing for Qingdi. Songshi handed them the letter upon their return to the capital. Reading the contents, Shao Yunduan, despite his frustration, had to reluctantly accept the reality. Objectively speaking, this person seemed fine, no apparent flaws. If he ever mistreated Tao Tao, handling him wouldn't pose much difficulty. However, Shao Yunduan didn't harbor much affection for Zhao Shu. The fact that his brother fancied the man who had kidnapped his sister bewildered him. That aside, Qiao Xian even teased him, suggesting that finding a son-in-law might be a challenge if they had a daughter in the future. Dismissing the notion, Shao Yunduan was confident he could find suitable candidates. In response to Zhao Shu's concerns, Qiao Xian playfully replied, "Rest assured, my husband and I have devised our own plans. You continue your travels between the south and the capital. Occasionally, check on the properties we've left behind in the capital." Shao Yunduan added with composure, "Don't interfere in other people's affairs. Don't delude yourself into thinking you're clever enough to gather information about the court. It's not a realm you can easily navigate. Whether the Eastern Palace or the various princes, none were entities to be taken lightly. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know it report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1611, Zhao Shu's injustice. Having someone like Zhao Shu around, even 10 more wouldn't suffice to handle those individuals. It was akin to assisting people in counting their money after they had been sold. Zhao Shu was momentarily taken aback. He didn't sense any derogation of his intelligence. Instead, he responded cheerfully, "Yes, I understand. Thank you for your concern, fifth brother." Shao Yunduan, Qiao Xian suppressed a laugh. "We're aware of what's happening in An's province, so don't worry. And if you happen to visit Shouting Village, keep this matter to yourself and don't inform your family." The couple had meticulously prepared for the move. As imperial court officials, they could potentially face threats and attempts at control from the bandits. However, until they were pushed to a point of no return, their lives remained relatively secure. Even in the worst-case scenario, they could escape unharmed. Not revealing such matters to their families was a precautionary step, preventing any unnecessary worry or misinterpretation. Casting a guilty glance at Shao Yunduan, Zhao Shu assured, "Sister-in-law, rest assured, I won't breathe a word to anyone." Qiao Xian nodded, offering a smile. "Once we settle there and prosper, I'll invite you to join us in our prosperity, Zhao Shu." Zhao Shu's joy knew no bounds. "Certainly, sister-in-law. Thank you." Both fifth brother and sister-in-law treated him well, always offering support regardless of the circumstances. As for the opportunity to strike it rich in the less-than-ideal locale of An's province, Zhao Shu didn't dwell on it. His thought process was simple: if sister-in-law said an opportunity to make a fortune would come, then it would come. If she needed money, he would provide it. If she required assistance, he would willingly follow suit. At this juncture, even Uncle Qing and Aunt Qing couldn't help but be moved. Life, it seemed, was often a matter of luck. In the past, when their young master was still present, he would frequently jest and express concerns about his kind and naive nature. He feared that safeguarding such substantial family wealth in the future might prove challenging. Whether or not he could protect it wasn't the primary concern. What troubled Aunt Qing the most was the possibility that, instead of safeguarding the wealth, he might inadvertently bring disaster due to his vast assets. She had devised a plan for such a scenario. When the time came, she intended to discreetly relinquish some of their assets, investing in precious antiques and accumulating more gold and silver. They would maintain a low-key lifestyle, avoiding unnecessary exposure. Unexpectedly, her departure happened so swiftly that she couldn't make any arrangements for him. Besides bequeathing a considerable number of trustworthy individuals, what was even more surprising was that he had amassed wealth surpassing that of the Zhao family. The funds seamlessly integrated into the family's coffers, attracting little attention. No matter how unassuming he might be, with Lord Shao and Madame Shao by his side, no one could dare mistreat him. It was evident that he could lead a worry-free life. In addition to expressing gratitude, Zhao Shu also bid his farewells. The patriarch of the Zhao family had sent him a letter, urging him to return for the new year as there was an important matter to discuss. Granting due respect to the family patriarch, he had agreed to spend the new year with Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan, but his departure would be inevitable. While Shao Yunduan was indifferent to the situation, he silently wished for Zhao Shu's departure. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know your report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1612. Thank you. Qiao Xian felt a tinge of regret and spoke with a smile. Considering your chief's indication, it seems something significant is brewing. It's best for you to return home now. We'll embark on our journey after the first month of the new year, so there's no need for you to come back to bid us farewell. If you have the time, visit Shouting Village. I have something to send back to you, and you can take it along. It's not much, just 2 medium-sized boxes. The 2 boxes could easily be accommodated in the luggage-laden carriage, causing no inconvenience. Zhao Shu often had several attendants accompanying him whenever he ventured out, so the addition of 2 boxes wouldn't pose any difficulty. That's why Qiao Xian made the request. Zhao Shu was delighted at the chance to assist 5th brother and sister-in-law. He grinned and agreed, of course, sister-in-law. Just prepare them, and they'll send someone over to collect them. Don't worry, sister-in-law. I'll ensure they reach safely. Qiao Xian smiled appreciatively. Thank you. Zhao Shu's grin grew even more amiable and attentive. You're welcome, sister-in-law. Xia Jingrong also made an appearance. He was not one to merely scratch the surface. Extending his smile to Shao Yunduan and Qiao Xian, he conveyed, congratulations. Shao Yunduan returned the gesture with a cupped hand, thank you. Understanding the underlying message, Xia Jingrong exchanged smiles with them. Had Xia Jingrong not informed the princess consort's family about his intention to work for the crown prince, the crown prince might have been seriously tempted. He would have lost Shao Yunduan but gained young master Xia, making it a reasonable exchange. Shao Yunduan wouldn't have been able to escape so smoothly. This realization made Shao Yunduan understand that, in the crown prince's eyes, he was merely a valuable tool and a useful chess piece. For those old ministers burdened by reputation, many actions were constrained. Yet, Shao Yunduan, originating from humble beginnings without connections in the capital, had fewer reservations. Without Shao Yunduan, finding a replacement with his level of suitability would be an arduous task for the crown prince. However, if he could secure the eldest son of the Xia family, it would serve as a compensatory measure for this loss. Moreover, given the strained relationship between Shao Yunduan and himself, the crown prince felt a sense of disappointment and irritation, prompting him to let Shao Yunduan depart. Unable to approach Xia Jingrong directly, Shao Yunduan had been eagerly anticipating this meeting to express his gratitude face-to-face. The 3 of them gathered in the study for a conversation. Sharing a similar perspective to Shao Yunduan, Xia Jingrong believed that while others might find it challenging to navigate An's province, Shao Yunduan might find a way. In a place like that, peril and opportunity coexisted, offering a risk worth taking. Crucially, the reality in An's province was dire. Serving as an official there equated to exile, rendering anyone who went invisible in the eyes of the capital's residents. Over time, the Eastern Palace's influence on Shao Yunduan would fade away. In such a desolate place, people would look down on him, forget about him, and allow him to cleanse the marks on his reputation. It was a favorable outcome. Xia Jingrong found it perplexing whenever he contemplated the state of the nation. He doubted the crown prince's ability to secure the throne. Honored Princess Mai's fourth prince was formidable, and Empress Qi, the third prince, Princess Concubine Virtue, and the second prince all posed significant challenges, their influence extending deeper into the army than anticipated. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1613, knowing a lot. If the crown prince possessed both the courage and the means, he could potentially reverse the situation and seize power. However, such qualities were not inherent in his character. Even if he were to ascend to the throne, the relentless expansion of Great Qin would persist, leading to an escalation of brutality and bloodshed. It became imperative to distance oneself from the capital and the imperial court. The crown prince still harbored hopes of retaining him in the capital as an official, but such a scenario seemed implausible. Xia Jingrong's knowledge of An's province surprised both Shao Yunduan and Xiao Xian. Entranced by his insights, they were previously unaware that the region, rife with bandits and challenges, held a deeper complexity. The influential families collaborated with the bandits, openly or covertly, exerting control over nearly every aspect of the area. Their understanding had been superficial until Xia Jingrong illuminated the intricate details. Xia Jingrong possessed information on the most influential bandits, the dynamics of the three major families, and even secured a map of Anzizhou. Shao Yunduan expressed profuse gratitude, treating the information as a valuable treasure. Maintaining a semblance of distance from Shao Yunduan, Xia Jingrong, and his newfound acquaintances, departed after half a day. The secrecy surrounding their amicable terms was crucial, as it wouldn't be advantageous for others to discover the close association between Shao Yunduan's family and Xia Jingrong. Once Xia Jingrong left, Shao Yunduan couldn't help but express admiration. Brother Xia's knowledge is truly vast and all-encompassing. It's no wonder the crown prince values him so highly. We find ourselves indebted to him once again. Qiao Xian shared Shao Yunduan's sentiment, wholeheartedly admiring Xia Jingrong. Shao Yunduan's appointment as the prefect of An's province was inevitable and immutable, rendering the Shao mansion desolate. Anticipating a decrease in visitors before the new year, Qiao Xian foresaw the absence of last year's invitations. Considering the bleak outlook for the princes, both Xia Jingrong and her husband held a pessimistic view of the future troubles. She wished for their existence to fade from the memories of the capital. As the 12th lunar month commenced, the long-awaited resettlement of the Cloudwater Town Manor concluded. Accompanied by Ai, Mianmian, Lixia, and Liqiao, Qiao Xian embarked on this significant day. Originally spanning 1,200 mu, Qiao Xian expanded the farm to 1,600 mu after acquiring an additional 400 mu. Over the years, various crops such as potatoes, strawberries, watermelons, cantaloupes, melons, radishes, and cabbages had been cultivated for sale. Qiao Xian's foresight led him to diversify crops, ensuring sustainability for the future. Given the expansive nature of the manor, Qiao Xian decided against congregating Zhang Sang and the other 70-odd individuals into a single large residence. Instead, he opted to allocate living spaces based on the original households, promoting autonomy. In this vision for the future, each family would lead independent lives, offering mutual support when needed. Qiao Xian recognized that sustaining a harmonious coexistence required a shift from the communal living arrangements of their impoverished past. As prosperity loomed, an individual's ability to earn a livelihood became paramount. The principle of shared efforts would replace indiscriminate compensation, preventing potential conflicts from arising. Understanding the value of the enduring friendships forged over the years, Qiao Xian believed that it was wiser to allow each family to face their challenges independently. This approach, she reasoned, would safeguard the bonds they had cultivated and prevent unnecessary strain on their relationships. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1614, settled among the assembled families, the composition was diverse. Widows with 1 or 2 children, father-son pairs, couples with children, elderly individuals bereaved of sons in battle, and even the orphans of fallen comrades were present. In total, there were 11 families, with 10 belonging to Qiao Xian. Led by individuals such as Jing Sang, Wu Guan, Lu Changming, and others, the groups included 4 elderly members and 7 orphans. With construction completed, a pair of neat rows of houses flanked the main courtyard of the manor. Under Qiao Xian's guidance and Song's adept management, the decision was made to transform the entire area into a residential zone, allowing for future expansions. The houses, constructed with green bricks and black tiles, featured courtyard walls exceeding a meter in height. Each courtyard, modest in size, comprised a main house with 1 light, 2 dark, and 3 rooms. Additionally, there were 2 rooms, 1 large and 1 small, providing ample living space. Zheng Sang and his companions resided in a more spacious courtyard, boasting larger main rooms, wings, and courtyards compared to the other houses. Outside the courtyards, saplings of sweet osmanthus, magnolia, and pomegranate, each the size of a copper coin, were planted. Additional flowers and plants would be added when spring arrived. The roads surrounding the courtyards were meticulously paved with bricks and stones, preventing muddy conditions during rainy days. A well was strategically placed not far from each family, ensuring convenient access to water. Vegetable plots designated for each family were situated close to their residences. After discussions led by Songshi, Jing Sang, and the others, it was decided to allocate approximately 2 plots of land to each family for cultivating essential vegetables to sustain their daily needs. By late November, all the construction of buildings and courtyards had been completed. As the residents of the dilapidated courtyard arrived at their new homes in carriages, carrying their worn-out luggage, a wave of astonishment swept through them. Several women couldn't hold back tears, their emotions mingling between cries and laughter. The children, in contrast, were filled with excitement, running around, screaming, and cheering. Unprecedented happiness enveloped them. This was their new haven, a tidy and pristine abode. As long as they were willing to put in the effort, they could build a life here. The allure was irresistible, a bright and promising future awaited them, a future brimming with hope. This is fantastic. We finally have a proper home. Mom, I love this place so much. I'll work hard. Let's stay here forever, okay? Lord Shao and Madam Shao are true bodhisattvas. We must remember their kindness. Absolutely. Lord Shao and Madam Shao are kind-hearted people. Anyone who wrongs them is not human. We won't forgive them. Zheng Sang had already assigned living spaces, alleviating any potential conflicts. With joyous hearts, everyone set down their belongings and eagerly inspected their allocated vegetable plots. Though modest in size, these plots were their own. Painstakingly planned and cultivated, they promised a year's worth of sustenance. Warmth filled their hearts. The women wore smiles, already contemplating what to plant in the fields. The houses were furnished with basic items, beds, cabinets, tables, stools. Additional personal touches would be added over time. However, immediate necessities like pots, pans, oil, salt, sauce, and vinegar needed attention. Utilizing some remaining funds, Zheng Sang procured a set for each family. Additionally, he purchased quilts, winter clothes, shoes, socks, and food, ensuring the households were well equipped for their new beginnings. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1615, on the Manor. Songshi promptly organized their work schedules, which would commence the next day and last for half a month. By the end of the following month, they would receive half a month's salary. The proposal was met with unanimous approval, and everyone expressed their happiness without any objections. Working in the fields proved to be a welcome change from the strenuous labor at the docks and warehouses. Most importantly, the newfound stability allowed them to cast aside worries about the uncertainties of tomorrow. Eager to begin their tasks, everyone couldn't wait to start working. Among them were orphans like Lu Fu, Qing Lian, Yenner, and others, who lived alongside Jing Sang, Lu Changming, and the rest. The day they moved in, their joy manifested in tireless running around the courtyard. That evening, the communal meal continued, and Xianxia, along with the young steward of the manor, was invited to join. In the courtyard, Jing Sang and the others cooked diligently. Jing Sang, determined to make the occasion special, spent money on over 20 caddies of pork, more than 10 caddies of mutton, and 6 chickens. The women, busy in the kitchen, filled the air with laughter and chatter. Despite the simplicity of the setting, the rich fragrance of meat made everyone's mouths water. This feast surpassed even the grandeur of a New Year celebration. The joy of partaking in this sumptuous meal within the spacious and bright new houses fueled optimism for the better days that lay ahead. With this, Zheng Sang and the others officially settled down in the Cloudwater Town Manor. The farm in Cloudwater Town buzzed with liveliness. Xianxia, as the chief steward, busily organized and instructed on various matters. In the initial days, he experienced the challenges and joys of overseeing dozens or even hundreds of people. Though fatigued, he found fulfillment in his responsibilities. Unfortunately, the time had come for Lord and Madam to leave the capital to assume their duties, and Xianxia, along with Qing Yan, Lixia, and others, would accompany them on this new journey. It was rumored that the area wasn't ideal, with numerous bandits, but Xianxia remained unfazed. His lord and lady were astute and carefree, facing each day with smiles and happiness. As a servant with limited knowledge, he saw no reason for concern. It surely wouldn't pose any problem. Zheng Sang was overjoyed to learn of Qiao Xian's impending visit. With little winter work to occupy them, everyone eagerly awaited Qiao Xian's arrival. As the carriage approached, children ran home shouting, "Madame Shao is here! Madame Shao is here!" Families emerged, gathering with smiles and shining eyes to welcome the approaching carriage. "It's really her. I haven't met Madame Shao yet. Madame Shao is exceptionally beautiful and amiable. She even brought us candy last time. She's truly wonderful. Absolutely. Madame Shao is the finest madam I've ever encountered. Oh, you little girl, how many madams have you met?" Laughter ensued. Regardless of the number of people encountered, Madame Shao undoubtedly stood out as the best. As soon as Qiao Xian stepped off the wagon, someone took the lead. With Zheng Sang and a few others exempted, the rest knelt down. "Madame Shao, hello, madam, thank you, madam." Tears welled in the sentimental women's eyes once more. They covered their mouths, choked with emotion. Living a life beyond their wildest dreams, the sight of Qiao Xian filled them with a sense of light and hope. The surge of emotions within their hearts was palpable. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 16:16. Make it clear. Qiao Xian lifted the curtain and spotted the crowd eagerly waiting for her. She pondered what to say upon disembarking, but before she could utter a word, they created a heartfelt scene. Surprised, Qiao Xian urged, "Get up! Get up!" Extending a helping hand, she assisted an elderly lady named Old Lady Zhang, whom she had met in the alley yard the other day. Lixia and others also aided them to their feet. Moved by the gesture, everyone expressed gratitude to Qiao Xian repeatedly. Laughter and chatter filled the air, creating a lively atmosphere. After a few exchanges, Xianxia stepped forward, saying, "It's too cold outside. The house has already been warmed with a charcoal basin and fire bed. Madam, please sit inside and chat." Agreeing, everyone followed Qiao Xian to the main courtyard. Once inside the main room, Qiao Xian found herself alone. The others remained on the porch or in the yard beneath the stairs. Lixia soon emerged, inviting Jing Sang, Wu Guan, Lu Changming, Grandma Zhang, and around 10 others inside. Smiling, she conveyed Madame's message. It's cold today, so Madame won't come out. She wants you all to know that, as long as you're willing, you can stay here. If, in the future, you wish to move, build a house, or buy land, that's perfectly fine. Interrupting with smiles, the group reassured, no, no. As long as Madame doesn't drive us away, we'll stay forever. We'll do whatever Madame wants, yes, yes. Leaving such a good place is unthinkable. Thank you for your kindness, Madame. This is a blessing for us, and more. Wuxia, with a smile, asked for their attention and continued, Madame's words stand. You can be at ease. However, Madame wants to emphasize that if you plan to stay long-term, treat this place as your home and protect it. Follow the manor rules, refrain from actions harmful to Madame, and any betrayal or collusion with outsiders won't be taken lightly. The atmosphere tensed momentarily as everyone briskly nodded in agreement. Absolutely. If anyone betrays, we won't let them off. That's right. We owe Madame too much. Following her instructions is the least we can do. Failing even in that would be disgraceful. If there's a traitor, we'll stand against them first. Wuxia smiled. Madame believes in everyone's integrity. She's merely offering a reminder. Keep it in mind and live peacefully here. All right, that's settled. You can all go now. Agreeing, everyone shared their thoughts. Wuxia handed 2 packets of pine nuts to Lu Fu and Qing Lian, asking them to distribute them to the children. The kids happily thanked them, cheering at the treat. Gentle smiles adorned the adults' faces, expressing gratitude before departing one by one. Inside the room, Qiao Xian invited everyone to take a seat and had tea served. After some small talk, she inquired about their stay and reiterated the manor rules. With Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan soon departing, uncertainties loomed over those who had accepted their generosity. Addressing potential issues beforehand seemed wiser than dealing with them later. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 16-17, I can offer my life for any reasonable person. Hearing her words would bring a sense of reassurance. Qiao Xian feared ambiguity and wanted to avoid confusion. Addressing potential issues in advance, rather than waiting for incidents to occur and reiterating rules, was not only more effective but also prevented blame and resentment. With clarity established, everyone had a clear understanding of their boundaries. They comprehended the conditions for living in this place, knowing what actions were acceptable and what were not. Xianxia and others agreed, recognizing the wisdom in this approach. They promised to explain it to everyone upon their return. Smiling, Qiao Xian said, Brother Zhang, we trust you to look after this place in our absence. The money you have should suffice for their winter needs, especially with the recent half-month salary. In the future, monthly income will ensure their lives are not difficult. Qiao Xian inquired about patients requiring long-term medication. Brother Zhang, discuss with Xianxia and provide me a list. It'll cover the treatment costs. If good medicine can expedite recovery, let me know. It's better to heal as soon as possible. For those needing extended recuperation, inform me of the required medicine and prescription. Ensure timely medication in the future. Upon hearing this, Xianxia and others looked up in disbelief. Wu Guan, with a trembling voice, asked, Madame Shao, is this true? Qiao Xian nodded with a smile. Certainly, why would I deceive you? Wu Guan, overwhelmed, rubbed his face and uttered in a hoarse voice, but, that will cost a lot of money. We can't afford it at all. In this life, in the next life, hailing from impoverished backgrounds and having faced life and death on the battlefield, they had limited knowledge beyond warfare. Despite surviving, their bodies bore the scars of disability, complicating their ability to earn a living. All future prospects seemed bleak for them. Left with a meager pension, departing the military camp, they faced the harsh reality of their limited skills and lack of managerial knowledge, predicting a challenging future. Adopting the orphans, women, and elderly of their fallen comrades was even more daunting. Driven by a sense of camaraderie and survival, they endured for many years, clinging to the hope of a cure despite their financial struggles. Expressing their desperation, Qiao Xian sighed, "I will cover the expenses, and you don't need to repay me. We've known each other as friends, and it seems like fate. My husband's brother is also in the camp, consider it a blessing for him. Don't feel burdened, just accept it." Their surprise was evident. Lu Chengming inquired cautiously, "But, Madame Shao, a doctor mentioned it would cost hundreds of taels of silver for the cure. Others might need substantial payments." Nervously, Wu Guan and the others turned to Qiao Xian for confirmation. Qiao Xian smiled, reassuring them, "Certainly, I can afford hundreds or even thousands of taels." "Really? That's fantastic. Thank you, Madame Shao." Madame Shao is truly a living bodhisattva. Joy enveloped everyone. Zheng Sang rose and bowed to Qiao Xian, hands folded in front of his chest. "Madam, my life belongs to you and my lord. Whatever you ask of me, I will do. Count us in." Wu Guan and Lu Chengming declared without hesitation. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know it report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 16:18, Uninvited Guest. This turn of events caught Qiao Xian off guard, leaving her momentarily speechless. Regaining composure, she raised her hand with a smile, "Brother Zheng, you're too serious. It's our fate, and this is nothing. In the future, just live in peace. If there's a need, don't hesitate." Zheng Sang nodded, "If you need anything, Madam and Lord, don't stand on ceremony." "That's right," Wu Guan chimed in, "whatever it is, we're willing." Qiao Xian chuckled. After discussing some family matters, she dismissed them. Rushing to their families, Zheng Sang and the others shared the news that Qiao Xian would cover the treatment costs for their ailing comrades. Overjoyed tears flowed, and they hastened to express gratitude to Qiao Xian. Intent on kowtowing, the women were stopped by Wuxia and others. Qiao Xian comforted them, understanding the depth of their emotions. She hoped that in the future, they wouldn't let each other down. Leading Wuxia and others around the village, Qiao Xian was accompanied by Lu Fu, Qing Lian, and the other children, who, emboldened by her gentle demeanor, began chatting around her. Witnessing this, other children joined in, and Qiao Xian, known for her kindness towards children, took them around before bringing them back for lunch. Enlisting the help of the servants' daughters-in-law, they prepared steaming meat buns, plump and fragrant with the tempting aroma of fresh white flour. The children eagerly awaited, and upon Qiao Xian's cue, they joyfully rushed forward to savor the delicious treat. Qiao Xian instructed the kitchen to prepare a variety of nonchalant, casual, and indifferent dishes, creating a lively atmosphere. Upon discovering the gesture, everyone expressed gratitude and recited Buddhist scriptures, feeling fortunate to have encountered someone as kind as Madame Shao. Qiao Xian happily spent half a day in the farmland before returning to the city. The children enthusiastically ran alongside the wagon until they were far away. Wuxia and the others shared the joy, remarking on the increased number of people in the manor, making it look more like a true manor. Returning home around 4 in the afternoon, Qiao Xian brought fresh radishes, cabbages, eggs, and fish from the village. Planning a delightful dinner, she prepared braised fish, lamb stew with radishes, and vinegar cabbage. As thoughts turned to dinner, an unexpected guest arrived, elder Miss Tian Shanshan, whom Qiao Xian hadn't seen in a long time. With a guarded stance, Qiao Xian didn't allow her and her servant into the house. Instead, she invited Tian Shanshan to a private room in a nearby tea house. Despite feeling slighted by Qiao Xian's guarded actions, Tian Shanshan remained composed, concealing any displeasure. Maintaining a sense of superiority, she refrained from arguing with Qiao Xian, think that she is unworthy. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know it report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 16:19, Interesting. Tian Shanshan couldn't care less about Qiao Xian, but the reality of being outshone by someone she dismissed bothered her. Seeing Qiao Xian almost made her lose composure as a noble lady of the capital. "Miss Tian, what brings you here? Xianxia glanced at Xiao Xian before stating, Lord Shao has been assigned to An's province. Madam Qiao, do you comprehend the nature of An's province? Xiao Xian felt a surge of disgust. She never liked Xianxia, and it was challenging to remain calm in the face of a woman who repeatedly coveted her husband. Even if the words sounded ordinary, Xiao Xian couldn't shake the feeling of an underlying meaning. Furthermore, the words were abnormal. With a half-smile, Xiao Xian retorted, Miss Tian, you're not entitled to inquire about this, are you? It's none of your concern. Xianxia, embarrassed and infuriated, sneered, it appears you are ignorant of that place. An's province is infested with bandits. Countless criminals, having committed various crimes, reside in the rugged mountains. They've established themselves as lords of the mountains, becoming a formidable criminal force. Rampant violence, arson, routine for them. They consistently oppose the government. Lord Shao as an official there will achieve nothing. Merely keeping his life is already a feat. Madam Qiao, are you still so confident? Xiao Xian seethed with anger. Xianxia's condescending tone portrayed her as an ignorant fool. Who gave her the right to look down on others like this? Remaining silent, Xiao Xian's apparent restraint fueled Xianxia's pride as she mentioned, the official transfer order hasn't been officially issued yet, providing a chance to alter it. Having uttered her words, Xianxia shot a glance at Xiao Xian. She deliberately left the statement incomplete, hoping Xiao Xian would plead with her. After a moment's contemplation, Xiao Xian inquired, is there any way? She played along. Four, Xianxia's maid, scoffed. This is no trivial matter. Except for my miss, no one else will assist you. But why should my miss help you? Madam Qiao, do you grasp my point? Xiao Xian responded. Miss Tian, why don't you enlighten me? I don't quite understand your implications. Xiao Xian believed her response was suitably cooperative. Fu cast a contemptuous glance, internally musing, what an idiot. She's utterly clueless. Why would Lord Shao choose such a wife? If you insist, then it'll be straightforward. You're not worthy of Lord Shao. Why not dissolve the marriage directly? Since Lord Shao treats you well and is now facing trouble, you should do something in return, shouldn't you? Otherwise, it would be too selfish. You'd be letting Lord Shao down. Xianxia calmly added, Madam Qiao, An's province isn't fit for humans, and the bandits don't get along with authorities. I doubt you want to go there either. Official status is prestigious, but when weighed against your life, what's more crucial? You may not understand the meaning of going to An's province. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1620. Not choosing. Xianxia patiently recounted the bandit atrocities in An's province, describing the killings in detail, while Xiao Xian silently listened. However, in truth, Xiao Xian was already well aware of the events Xianxia described. Many of them were not as recent or severe as Xianxia portrayed, some dated back a decade. Yet, Xianxia presented them as recent occurrences. Upon concluding her account, Fu sneered, Madam Qiao, do you grasp the current situation? Only our miss is willing to aid Lord Shao. You don't really have a choice, do you? Xiao Xian cast a glance at her. No need. Fu displayed a smug smile, but Xiao Xian clarified, I'm not making any choice. What do you mean? What do you mean? Xiao Xian regarded them with an odd look. Are you expecting me to make a choice? That's absurd. Why should I make a choice? Fu retorted in frustration, don't you care about Lord Shao's life? He's risking everything. It's not your place to make such statements. Be cautious with your words. I trust my husband's judgment. If he's willing to go to An's province, then he can. Even if there are issues, my husband will handle them. What's the matter with a few bandits? They were only bold because they never encountered my husband. When he arrives, their good days will be over. They'll kneel and plead for mercy. Xianxia and Fu were left speechless. How could there be someone so blindly confident and naive? Fu scornfully remarked, "You dare to think like that?" Xianxia asserted proudly, "I have full confidence in my husband's capabilities." Fu stared at her, holding back her desire to mock Xiao Yunduan. She shot a glare at Xianxia instead. Xianxia rose slowly. "Let's just pretend Miss Tian never visited me." As Xianxia left, Xianxia's face turned crimson with embarrassment, anger, and frustration. "She's so ignorant and arrogant." Fu scoffed, advising softly, "That foolish woman knows nothing. Miss, don't stoop to her level. I think she did it on purpose." "Humph, she deliberately provoked you to upset you." Xianxian smiled coldly and said slowly, "You're correct about one thing. She wants to make me feel uncomfortable, but you're mistaken. She's not foolish. I believe she's clever." Xianxian seemed to have grasped something. A woman like Xianxia, who devoted herself entirely to her husband, would easily capture men like Xiao Yunduan. She had given it her all. No wonder Lord Shao refused to let her go. However, a woman like her was destined to be shallow. In the future, when Lord Shao's interest waned, he would find her dull, and she would no longer capture his attention. But how much longer would she have to endure? From her persistent infatuation to her inability to break free, she could no longer turn back, nor did she desire to. Unable to convince Xianxia, Xianxia decided to approach Xiao Yunduan herself. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know it report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1621. As long as cousin becomes the emperor, Xiao Yunduan was perplexed. He had no desire to engage with Xianxia. Spotting her, he swiftly turned away, intending to leave. Xianxia felt extreme pain and embarrassment. Was she so repulsive in his eyes? He avoided her as if she were a venomous snake or a ferocious beast. Proud and arrogant, she couldn't tolerate such humiliation. Shocked and fueled by her competitive spirit, Xianxia had to intercept Xiao Yunduan. Although he was stopped, Xiao Yunduan didn't engage in much conversation with Xianxia. His eyes betrayed a clear disgust, nearly causing her to lose her composure. Despite being halted, Xiao Yunduan didn't entertain any discussion of his upcoming role as an official in An's province. He didn't need her so-called good intentions, and didn't want to hear them. Shortly after, he decisively left. Xianxia's well-intentioned efforts went to waste. Returning home in anger and humiliation, she harbored intense resentment toward Xianxia. Vowing to make Xianxia kneel before her one day, she sought to claim everything Xiao Yunduan had done for her today. As long as her cousin ascended to the throne, everything would change dramatically. She didn't believe Xiao Yunduan would dare to resist. Xianxia's heart burned anew. While Xianxia's actions had no impact on Xianxia and Xiao Yunduan, the crown prince, hearing about it, grew displeased. He had been anticipating Xiao Yunduan to plead for him, but it never happened. He could no longer wait, so he subtly signaled his two young officers, who had joined him along with Xiao Yunduan, to talk with Xiao Yunduan. If Xiao Yunduan was in a bad mood, they were to try persuading him. The crown prince aimed to convince Xiao Yunduan to yield to his wishes. He also communicated that he had been patiently waiting for Xiao Yunduan to acquiesce. However, to the crown prince's surprise, the two young officers harbored long-standing animosity toward Xiao Yunduan. Fearing that he might plead with the crown prince, they deliberately provoked him. They had no intention of following the crown prince's instructions to make Xiao Yunduan give in. The two officers went to Xiao Yunduan, delivering the opposite message. They mocked and taunted him, attempting to ensure he didn't change his mind. Xiao Yunduan observed the theatrical performance put on by the two officers. In front of the crown prince, the two officers naturally had another pretext. The crown prince, displeased that Xiao Yunduan seemed oblivious to his clear intentions despite expressing goodwill, grew frustrated. When he heard that Tian family's elder miss had approached the officers, the crown prince dismissed it without much thought. Could Shao Yunduan have secretly aligned with the fourth brother? Was he colluding with the fourth brother? Furious and disappointed, the crown prince decided to no longer concern himself with the matter. If Shao Yunduan wanted to go to An's province, so be it. The crown prince was determined to see if Shao Yunduan's reputation would be tarnished or if he would even lose his life there. Only then would he gauge Shao Yunduan's true strength. Princess consort, feeling sorry for the crown prince, obediently sided with him. To comfort him, she fabricated negative stories about Shao Yunduan and Xiao Xian. She even mentioned with a smile that young Master Xie had developed a close relationship with her nephew, engaging in discussions about poetry and paintings with a group of scholars in the mountain courtyard. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1622. There's no one. It was evident that young Master Xie harbored a sincere desire to become an official. This realization brought relief to the crown prince. If he could secure eldest young Master Xie's loyalty, it would be a beneficial acquisition. Crown Prince requested Princess Consort to extend an invitation to Mr. Xie to visit the East Palace as a guest. However, Xie Jingrong declined, vaguely stating that it wasn't the right time yet. Interpreting this as a sign of agreement, the Crown Prince decided to patiently await the opportune moment. Feeling reassured, the Crown Prince looked forward to the upcoming new year. As anticipated by Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan, no guests or well-wishers visited them this year. Those who had turned snobbish and considered Shao Yunduan unworthy of friendship abstained, and some even reveled in the idea of celebrating the occasion with fireworks. For those who wished to avoid trouble, reaching out to Shao Yunduan could potentially incur the East Palace and Fourth Prince's displeasure. Preferring to steer clear of any complications, they chose to sever ties with him altogether. In a light-hearted manner, Qiao Xian teased Shao Yunduan, turning the situation into an amusing interlude for the couple. As the new year approached, Qiao Xian decided to keep a low profile even in purchasing festive items. She discreetly instructed Li Qiao, and Xianxia to procure necessary items for the new year in a modest manner, ensuring it was sufficient. Qiao Xian wanted to avoid appearing overly joyful or indifferent during this period, as it could potentially lead to unnecessary troubles and grievances in their lives. It was a precautionary measure to maintain harmony in their surroundings. Qiao Xian promptly instructed Xianxia and Qingyan to purchase the promised New Year goods for each family in Cloudwater Town, ensuring everyone received their fair share. The newly arrived families, including Zheng Seng's group, were not left behind. Out of compassion for the elderly, young, and her former comrades who were sick or childless, Qiao Xian requested Xianxia to provide them with a more substantial New Year's gift, recognizing their need for additional support. New Year's Eve unfolded as scheduled. The small courtyard was adorned with the warm glow of 2 rows of red lanterns, casting a festive and gentle ambience into the night. The brazier inside the house emanated a lively warmth, turning the brick bed into a cozy haven reminiscent of spring when the door was closed. Amid the festive atmosphere, the small group celebrated the arrival of the new year with joy. The imminent departure from the capital after the new year brought a sense of relaxation, particularly for Qiao Xian. Despite lingering concerns about the dream involving the crown prince, she focused on the present and embraced the freedom that awaited her beyond the capital. With the new year underway, Shao Yunduan completed the handover of responsibilities with the Ministry of Revenue officials, leaving him with newfound freedom. Deciding to forego attending court sessions, he opted to stay home with Qiao Xian. The couple expressed their desire to explore Cloudwater Town and its surroundings, visiting neighboring towns and exploring scenic mountains, rivers, and ancient temples. They were aware that once they departed, returning to the capital might be uncertain. While initially contemplating a stroll around the capital together, they dismissed the idea, considering it might appear too open. Instead, they focused on savoring the peaceful moments in Cloudwater Town before they finally left. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1623. Invitation. The two had initially planned to depart from the city after the 3rd day of the Lunar New Year. However, Their intentions took an unexpected turn when they received an invitation on the second day from the fourth princess consort. The invitation was for a banquet scheduled on the 6th day of the Lunar New Year. This unexpected development piqued their interest. Apparently, the eunuch delivering the invitation had received explicit instructions from the fourth princess consort. In a shrill voice, he conveyed, "The princess consort insists that Madame Shao must attend. No excuses will be entertained. Failure to comply will displease the princess consort." Xiao responded with a smile, addressing Shao Yunduan's father-in-law, "Please convey my gratitude to the fourth princess consort. I am truly honored that she still thinks of me during this time. I am delighted and see no reason to decline." "Yes, absolutely." Xiao Xian's expression, conveying a sense of honored acceptance, left the young eunuch feeling as though his words had fallen on deaf ears. Here to witness the spectacle and perhaps revel in their discomfort, the young eunuch couldn't shake the feeling of being observed. "Excellent. Madame Shao, remember that," he warned. "Hee, unforgettable, absolutely unforgettable." "Bah." The young eunuch departed with a sullen expression, but Xiao Xian's sneer spoke volumes. "In your dreams." The fourth princess consort might have aimed to mock and humiliate her, relishing in her embarrassment, but Xiao Xian had no intention of letting it affect her. Still, she couldn't deny that dealing with such matters was a headache. Shao Yunduan, holding her hands, offered a reassuring smile. "My wife, just go and enjoy the spectacle." Xiao Xian looked up at him, reciprocating the smile. "Indeed, that seems to be the only way." The couple grinned at each other. After a brief exchange of words, both of them began to ease up. Shao Yunduan expressed, "It would not be wise for you to decline. Considering we are departing the capital, I doubt the fourth princess consort would risk causing unnecessary trouble. Rest assured, my wife." Internally, Xiao Xian mused, "I am not concerned at all. Attending banquets is her specialty." "Yes, don't worry, husband." Yet, a sigh escaped her as she added, "In that case, our visit to Cloudwater Town tomorrow will have to be postponed." Shao Yunduan burst into laughter. "Even if you go in a few days, it'll be the same. Spend a few more days here to make up for the ones we missed." Xiao Xian chuckled. On the 6th day of the Lunar New Year, Xiao Xian accompanied Wuxia to the fourth prince's mansion. This time, the situation took an interesting turn. The fourth prince's household staff guided her through the residence, making numerous twists and turns before leading her to a flower hall, instructing her to wait. It was evident they intentionally left her there. The reception hall lacked the warmth of a heated brick bed or a charcoal basin. Its cold and austere atmosphere was accentuated by its emptiness. Besides Xiao Xian and her servant, there was no one present. Given the pleasant weather, Xiao Xian decided to take advantage of it and brought Wuxia to the courtyard to enjoy the sunshine. In the yard, 2 robust and ancient winter plum trees blossomed at the perfect time. The golden flowers on the branches sparkled in the bright sunlight, and the fragrance filled the air, providing a refreshing sensation. While admiring the flowers and conversing with Wuxia, Xiao Xian activated her superpower to eavesdrop on the ongoings within the mansion. A cacophony of noises reached her ears, prompting Xiao Xian to retract her superpower. Utilizing it in a bustling environment proved challenging due to the myriad voices and incessant noise. The residence lacked the tranquility necessary for effective use, a drawback that made Xiao Xian feel lightheaded after a prolonged attempt. This superpower, she realized, was better suited for information gathering in open landscapes and wilderness rather than crowded places. However, within the mansion, the only discernible sounds were servants gossiping, various discussions, and envy expressed toward the madams and young ladies attending the banquet. Amidst the chatter, there were also whispers of mockery and gloating aimed at Xiao Xian. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know your report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1624, The Open Gambit. Xiao Xian and her servant engaged in conversation until a maid arrived. Casting a stiff glance at them, she declared, "Madame Shao, please come with me." Returning the look with a smile, Xiao Xian replied, "Then please lead the way." Assuming that decorum would prevail in the fourth prince's mansion, the maid proudly guided them, raising her chin with an air of superiority. Xianxia, feeling indignant, sought solace in her madam's gaze. Qiao, shaking her head with a smile, signaled for Xianxia not to be bothered. Xianxia pursed her lips and lowered her eyes, resigned to the snobbish attitude. Upon arriving at the hall where the guests had congregated, the opulent and spacious room teemed with people. With Qiao and her servant being the last to arrive, the madams and young ladies, engaged in cheerful conversations, collectively turned their attention toward them. A smile adorned their lips, and their eyes sparkled with anticipation, a clear indication that they were eager for a spectacle. Once a figure of envy and glory, Madame Shao now found herself the object of their gloating pleasure. The sudden intrusion of someone who did not originally belong to their social circle, now seizing their coveted position, fueled their delight. In their eyes, it seemed normal for this turn of events. Furthermore, they collectively concluded and sighed, this is the consequence of lacking a foundation. Everything is superficial, and chaos is inevitable. Princess Consort's expression soured the moment she laid eyes on Xiao. Subconsciously clenching her fists, embarrassment painted her face. Why was she here? Princess Consort harbored no desire to see Xiao at all. Observing Princess Consort's reaction, the fourth Princess Consort was taken aback. She had deliberately invited Xiao to surprise Princess Consort, who was known to dislike her. However, Princess Consort's response appeared to be more extreme than expected. Xiao, a perfect match for the Crown Prince's hypocritical and pretentious demeanor, displayed composure, contrasting sharply with Princess Consort's overt displeasure. The revelation hinted at a strained relationship between Shao and the East Palace. Greetings, Crown Princess Consort. Greetings, Princess Consorts. Xiao approached, bowing respectfully. Despite her tense demeanor, Princess Consort maintained a dignified tone. No need to stand on ceremony. Thank you, Princess Consort. A lady in attendance remarked with a half-smile, Madame Shao, you are so audacious. Princess Consort and the other princes and princesses are here, and Madame Shao arrives late. The other ladies quickly chimed in agreement. That's right. Her rudeness is unacceptable. Lacking manners is in her nature. You can't expect more. You can't excuse her behavior. She should respect her seniors and adhere to proper etiquette. This is unacceptable. If you are ignorant, it's better to stay home and avoid embarrassing yourself. She's only here because she won't have another chance in the future. That's the truth. Princess Consort's displeasure deepened, and she glared disapprovingly at Xiao. Her sense of disgust was palpable. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1625, Looking for Trouble MS. Qiao had fallen out of favor with the Crown Prince due to Shao Yunduan's influence, foreclosing any prospects for her in the royal court. In response, she contemplated a vindictive course of action, intending to unveil her true nature. How audacious! Xiao cast a glance at the fourth Princess Consort, who had been gleefully witnessing the spectacle, letting others mock her. Ladies, don't envy me. The fourth Princess Consort treats me differently. The servants were leading me to another resting area, causing the delay. Princess Consort, please forgive me. The fourth Princess Consort chuckled, I think I led you the wrong way. My apologies, Madame Shao. Fourth Princess Consort, your understanding is appreciated. Smiling, the fourth Princess Consort gestured, Madame Shao, please take a seat. Thank you, fourth Princess Consort. As Qiao settled into her seat, she overheard a sneer. Even if the servants misdirected you, can't you inquire? The fourth Princess Consort is hosting a banquet, attended by the Princess Consort and other royals. Could you not fathom this? Your lack of decorum is truly unbecoming. You'll be an eyesore in the future. Exactly, amidst laughter and conversation, the atmosphere grew lively. However, at this juncture, everyone seemed to collectively forget about Xiao, deliberately ignoring her. No one engaged in conversation with her. These were individuals from respected families, adept at subtle forms of cruelty. Rather than resorting to crass insults or attacks, they chose a more refined approach. Their familiarity with each other allowed them to inflict discomfort through complete indifference and disdain. This mental humiliation and subtle torment, though devoid of physical harm, proved potent enough to make one wish to disappear into the ground. Despite Xiaoxian's strong mental fortitude, impatience began to gnaw at her. Stuck in the situation, leaving early wasn't an option, forcing her to endure the discomfort. After some time, the fourth princess consort announced with a smile that the theater was prepared, leading the guests to enjoy the show. Praises for the well-organized spectacle flowed, fostering a sense of anticipation. The fourth princess consort basked in the satisfaction of her guests. Qiao followed the group with Wuxia. While she wasn't particularly fond of watching the show, it was preferable to enduring the incessant chatter. As they moved, someone in the crowd shoved Wuxia from behind. Caught off guard, Wuxia let out a scream as she collided with a young lady in front of her. The young lady, initially engaged in light banter, nearly stumbled and screamed in shock. Recovering, she turned around to find, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Wuxia apologized earnestly. Before she could elaborate, the young lady raised her eyebrows and slapped Wuxia's face, unleashing an angry tirade, "You unruly wretch. What has your master taught you?" The commotion drew the attention of everyone present. Covering her face, Wuxia defended herself, "It was unintentional. How dare you? How dare you be so defiant?" Xiao took hold of Wuxia and noticed her face reddening. Gently patting her hand, she addressed the enraged lady, "Wuxia inadvertently offended you, and you have scolded and struck her. What more do you seek?" Being framed, Wuxia knew explaining herself would be futile. Accusations would only escalate, and she opted not to waste her efforts. Hearing Xiaoxian's words, the lady glared, sneering, "What's this? Madam Shao, are you implying dissatisfaction? Like mistress, like servant, haha. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1626, Ridicule. Xiao retorted, "Madam Tian, you're correct, I am not convinced. She is my servant, and you have no authority over her. Madam Tian, you're well versed in rules and etiquette, so I must inquire, whose rules are these? Are they yours? You." As the onlookers had anticipated Xiao and her servant facing retribution at the hands of Madame Tian, Xiao, with just a few words, effectively countered the second young Madame Tian. The audience, who had initially doubted Xiaoxian's suitability among them, were now focused on discussions about rules and etiquette. Mocking Xiaoxian seemed to elevate their sense of superiority. Though Xiaoxian directed her words at Madame Tian, some other ladies couldn't help but feel a twinge of annoyance and embarrassment. Recognizing the potential for an escalating confrontation, one individual stepped forward and pulled the second young madam of the Tian family aside, attempting to mediate. "Let it go, let it go." The girl acted impulsively. "It's all right to teach her a lesson. No need to be so upset." "Exactly. Escalating the situation won't help. Why let it go that far? Let's not engage in further argument." To be fair, Madame Shao might have been a bit harsh. The actions and words of the young Madame Tian were likely reflexive. Madame Shao shouldn't have criticized her so vehemently. That's right. Who wouldn't react strongly when startled? If it were Madame Shao, the response might have been even more intense. Madame Shao is known for her sharp tongue. This is quite evident. It's clear your servant made a mistake. Instead of offering an apology, you seem to be shifting blame onto others. Shouldn't Madame Shao be the one apologizing? Sigh, she won't care about that. Hee hee. Wuxia was both angry and anxious, tears welling up as she looked at Xiao with concern. Madame was defending her, which warmed her heart. However, she hadn't expected the situation to unfold like this. The matter clearly had nothing to do with Madame. She had been targeted in a scheme. Yet, these people were distorting the truth and acting self-righteous. If Xianxia didn't know her master's character so well, she would rather apologize herself than witness her madam endure such injustices. Qiao Xian, however, wasn't about to let Xianxia shoulder the blame. She sneered, "I'm not as adept at playing the blame game as many people here. I don't know if you're scared or not, but let me ask you this. If you accidentally kill someone out of shock, does that mean the authorities will excuse you? Is that not considered murder? A person who refuses to take responsibility for their actions, instead finding excuses left and right. Even when in the wrong, they still try to justify it. I don't understand how someone can have the audacity to speak of rules and etiquette. Or perhaps you're relying on the strength of your numbers? Declaring rules and etiquette while tarnishing the very essence of those words. No matter how wrong my servant may be, I will be the one to reprimand them. But hitting and scolding without explanation is shameless. Correcting my servant's mistake and dealing with those who meddle without permission are entirely separate matters. Don't conflate them. All of you make it sound so animated. Let me pose a question. If your servant makes a mistake, should others be allowed to casually and indifferently reprimand them? The ladies seethed with anger, yet fear of Qiao Xian's sharp tongue silenced them. They dared not utter a word, lest they face further humiliation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1627, Revenge. The second young Madame Tian had been enjoying the support from those defending her, feeling a sense of pride. However, Qiao Xian's cutting remarks infuriated her to the point of outburst. Who do you think you are? If you can't teach me, they'll be the one teaching you, given how highly you think of yourself. You're becoming increasingly audacious. Qiao Xian looked at her and remarked, "Second young Madame Tian, your manners and etiquette are truly admirable. I'm truly impressed. You. Forget it, forget it." Someone quickly intervened, pulling second young Madame Tian aside and offering soft advice. Why stoop to the level of someone like her? Let it go, you're magnanimous. Don't say too much. Just then, Princess Consort and fourth Princess Consort sent someone to inquire about the situation. Attempting to downplay the matter, everyone put on smiles, eager to avoid further complications. Most importantly, they were well aware that they were in the wrong. Being unreasonable was one thing, but challenging Qiao Xian was another matter entirely. They knew they couldn't win. The embarrassment was palpable. While they suspected the fourth princess consort might take pleasure in seeing Qiao Xian face adversity, they hadn't wronged her before and felt too awkward to voice their opinions. The person seeking information wisely chose not to delve into the matter. It was the first month of the lunar calendar, a time for harmony and auspicious celebrations. Stirring up trouble was ill-advised. Consequently, the group proceeded ahead, deliberately ignoring Qiao Xian this time. They quickened their pace and maintained a distance from her and Xianxia. Xianxia, seething with anger, whispered to Qiao Xian, "Madam, these people are intolerable. Despite their claims of having manners, is this how they treat others?" Qiao Xian smiled and shared with Xianxia, "They treat people differently from us. We value treating people well, but they prioritize wielding power." Xianxia was taken aback, covering her mouth as she chuckled. Qiao Xian joined in the laughter. The silly girl had a generous heart, and that pleased Qiao Xian. "Is your face okay?" Xianxia shook her head hastily. "I'm fine. It's my fault for involving you, don't be silly. It's not about you. What happens to me has nothing to do with you. Don't be upset. These people will face consequences." Xianxia nodded, finding solace in Madame's reassurance. Little did she know that retribution would come sooner than expected. With the theater arranged, everyone took their seats. The prince's concubines engaged in lively conversations, choosing scenes for themselves. The madams of higher status also selected scenes. The troupe promptly began performing according to the script. Xianxia cast a glance at the trees in the yard outside the opera house, a cunning smile flickering across her eyes. Having developed and evolved persistently, she could now control plants to a certain extent without direct contact. Although the range of this control was smaller without direct touch, it proved convenient. While an outdoor setting would yield a better effect, the indoor theater was sufficient for Xianxia's purposes. Engrossed in the unfolding performance on stage, everyone's attention was captivated. Even the maidservants and older women standing behind, at the sides, and along the corridor outside craned their necks to catch a glimpse of the stage. Unbeknownst to anyone, the previously bare and gray branches of a crabapple tree in the West Mansion courtyard, with a diameter exceeding 20 centimeters, were gradually sprouting visible buds. These buds expanded, transformed into delicate pink blossoms, and slowly opened, revealing their vibrant hues, one by one. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1628, Blossom. The entire transformation took less than 3 minutes. The once gray and barren crabapple tree now burst into a profusion of flowers. Pink blossoms densely adorned the branches, creating a breathtaking spectacle. The trees were now adorned with flowers, creating a vision of clouds. From a distance, it resembled a pink cloud gently swaying in the breeze under the bright sunlight, a truly beautiful sight. Once everything was accomplished, Qiao retracted her power. Shortly after, exclamations filled the air. Ah! It's blooming. Look, it's blooming. What? Can you believe it? The crabapple tree, it's blooming. Ah! Heavens, am I hallucinating? It was completely bare just a moment ago. I didn't imagine it. How is this possible? It's so peculiar. Heavenly Bodhisattva. The maidservants on the corridor were utterly astonished, their worldviews on the verge of shattering. Witnessing what seemed like a miracle, they couldn't contain their excitement, engaging in non-stop discussions. Caught up in their astonishment, the maidservants momentarily forgot themselves. Their animated conversation quickly drew the attention of those inside the opera house. Frowning, they went out to scold the maidservants, stern expressions on their faces. The maidservants, eager to share their discovery, all talked at once, pointing excitedly at the splendid crabapple tree bathed in sunlight. Witnessing the transformation, the maids and other servants couldn't help but widen their eyes and exclaim, "Ah!" Some of the elder ones even doubted their eyesight due to age and hastily rubbed their eyes, peering closely to ensure they weren't seeing things. The esteemed Auntie Tang stammered, when did these flowers bloom? Why wasn't it reported earlier? All the maidservants burst into laughter. You've got it wrong. The flowers just bloomed. We just noticed. That can't be possible. It's true, Auntie Tang. When the masters entered the opera house, there was nothing there. There's no reason for all of us to see and remember wrongly. What? Auntie Tang sought repeated confirmations. Eventually, she sighed, exchanging bewildered glances with the others. While it might be conceivable for one person to misperceive, or even 2 or 3 to overlook something, it defied belief that a group of 20 to 30 people could collectively misjudge and misremember such a sight. Auntie Tang was about to head into the opera house to report to the 4th princess consort when a commotion reached her ears. It appeared that a lady inside had inadvertently turned her head toward the row window and spotted the pink and beautiful crabapple flowers. She cried out in surprise, capturing everyone's attention. The allure of this sight far surpassed the scenes unfolding on stage. Now, all eyes were on the blossoms. The maidservants promptly hushed, retreating to the side obediently. However, their eyes sparkled with excitement. They had never witnessed or even heard of such an extraordinary phenomenon. Sharing this story with their companions, especially those in other residences, might be met with disbelief. Princess Consort, 4th Princess Consort, and the others approached, gazing up at the pink and plump flowers on the trees. Exclamations of awe escaped their lips. A lady broke into a smile, declaring, "This is a joyous occasion, a joyous occasion. It's a tremendous auspicious sign. It signifies that the fourth prince's residence is rich in vital energy and blessed by the heavens. All the madams and young ladies beamed, joining in the sentiment. Absolutely, the crabapple tree is a symbol of wealth, auspiciousness, and prosperity. At this moment, while flowers elsewhere remain unopened, the fourth prince's residence is already in full bloom. Truly remarkable. If you find any errors, ads pop-up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1629, A Fortune. These flowers, grass, and trees hold spiritual significance. Look at the vitality of these begonia flowers. The fourth prince's residence is sure to be blessed this year. It's an auspicious sign. Yes. The sentiments of everyone resonated with the fourth princess consort, filling her with joy. In contrast, the princess consort's face contorted with anger and disbelief as she glared at the blooming flowers. Good omen? Good luck? Spiritual presence in flowers and trees? Omens? The prince was born into the prosperous Tian family, and their wealth was already substantial. What more auspicious signs did the fourth prince desire? What additional good luck did he seek? Were they insinuating rebellion? But why, of all places, did such a favorable event occur in the fourth prince's residence? Even if the flowers and trees possessed life, the spiritual essence should reside in the crown prince's abode. The flattering and laughter from the ladies felt like sharp needles, each word piercing Princess Consort's heart. She could ignore other matters, they were inconsequential. However, she would not tolerate anything that cast doubt on the crown prince's position. Unable to endure it any longer, Princess Consort spoke calmly. It's bitterly cold, so why is the crabapple tree suddenly blooming? Moreover, it would be understandable if just one or two branches were in bloom, but the entire tree covered in flowers is certainly not normal. Besides, I distinctly recall that the crabapple tree showed no signs of blooming when we passed by earlier. In such a short time, how could it? It's truly peculiar. A hush fell over the crowd, the smiles fading from their faces. Most had come to realize the inappropriateness of praising the fourth prince's mansion in front of the princess consort. A sense of unease spread among the assembly. The madams and young madams of the Tian family, who had been the most fervent in their praise, now felt a heightened sense of discomfort. Guiltily, they lowered their heads and averted their eyes. The fourth princess consort's smile froze in response. Princess consort, on the other hand, felt a surge of satisfaction. She smiled and quipped to the fourth princess consort, "Have you orchestrated something to bring such joy to everyone?" Internally seething, the fourth princess consort had no intention of mocking anyone, especially not the princess consort. How would I know? The crabapple tree clearly bloomed. I find it quite beautiful. There's nothing strange about it. The world is filled with all sorts of peculiarities. What's the harm if a tree decides to bloom? I find the madam's reasoning quite plausible. This area likely boasts favorable terrain with abundant energy veins. The recent sunny weather and warmth have prompted the blooming, haven't they? She was not afraid of Princess Consort like others might be. It was a propitious omen, and she saw no reason to downplay it. Envy flashed in Princess Consort's eyes at the auspicious sign bestowed upon the fourth prince's mansion. However, her envy meant little. While simmering with fury internally, Princess Consort managed to maintain a composed demeanor. She smiled and remarked, "Fourth sister-in-law, your explanation seems rather baseless. If this location truly enjoys favorable conditions and warmth, there should be more than one crabapple tree here. Why is this the sole blooming tree? It doesn't add up." Furthermore, as we passed by earlier, this crabapple tree was still barren. Not a single flower bud was visible. The sudden burst of blossoms doesn't make sense. In my opinion, this is highly unorthodox. A momentary unease settled over the crowd, their expressions subtly shifting. Deep down, they found themselves increasingly aligned with Princess Consort's perspective. Indeed, this whole thing appeared highly weird. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1630. Too strange. The fourth princess consort erupted in anger and retorted with a change in expression. Sister-in-law, what do you mean? It's the first month of the lunar calendar. Who are you cursing? Seeing the fourth princess consort lose her composure, princess consort felt a surge of satisfaction. She spoke in a calm and sincere tone. Fourth sister-in-law, I'm not cursing anyone. I'm merely offering a friendly reminder. As the saying goes, truth is often unwelcome, but you shouldn't turn a blind eye to it. This matter seems to be filled with heresy, unorthodox practices, and an air of malignancy. Fourth sister-in-law, why not consult with fourth brother and invite a Taoist master to perform a purification ceremony? You. The fourth princess consort seethed. She sneered and declared, it seems you're intentionally causing trouble during the first month of the lunar year. I find these flowers quite splendid. I'll keep and admire them. There's no heresy, unorthodoxy, or malignancy. Our prince is the scion of a dragon. Such things are unfounded. Sister-in-law, you're overthinking. Princess consort snorted. I'm just offering advice. If you don't value it, then so be it. The fourth princess consort grinned meaningfully. Enough with the flowers. Why don't we return and continue enjoying the performance? After the uproar, who would still be in the mood for the show? However, the banquet couldn't simply end there, so they all forced smiles and agreed. Princess consort nodded with a forced smile. In that case, please proceed. Sister-in-law, please go ahead. The fourth princess consort smiled and turned to instruct the chief palace maid beside her. Saiju, have some people cut a few of these crabapple flowers and send them to the opera house. Yes, princess consort. The fourth princess consort shot a provocative look at princess consort, clearly gearing up for a confrontation. Princess consort displayed a hint of anger while suppressing her frustration. Observing the second lady of the Tian family, Qiao Xian activated her power. A sturdy tree root suddenly emerged from the ground, discreetly nudging the second young Madame Tian under her shoes. Unnoticed by the crowd, the subtle intervention with the tree root went unseen, concealed beneath the long skirts of the attendees. To onlookers, it appeared that the second young Madame Tian was walking gracefully, likely tripping over the hem of her dress, causing her to scream and lurch forward. The maidservant accompanying her failed to restrain her, and the sudden pounce caught the two young madams off guard. The pair, holding hands and laughing as they strolled, inadvertently collided with princess consort. Reacting instinctively, someone took a step back, but the momentum of the collision caused the two young madams to tumble onto princess consort. In the ensuing chaos, Andy Fu and she, attempting to assist princess consort, ended up bumping into each other, failing to prevent the fall. The unfortunate outcome saw princess consort on the ground, a sharp pain in her palm, and a broken jade pendant that had adorned her waist. The commotion drew immediate concern from those nearby. Princess consort, are you all right? Princess consort. Wincing from the pain in her palm, princess consort concealed the bleeding wound, determined not to reveal her vulnerability. She accepted the help offered to her, all the while hiding the stained and broken aspects of her previously immaculate appearance. Despite the external assistance, the scene portrayed a stark contrast to her previous elegance, now marred by a mess of torn fabric and damaged attire. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1631. Fighting face-to-face. Princess consort found herself in an unprecedented state of embarrassment, her face flushed with anger and her overall appearance significantly marred. Witnessing the aftermath of their accidental collision, the two young madams immediately knelt down, fear etched across their pale faces. Princess consort, please forgive me, I didn't do it on purpose. Princess consort, please forgive me. Facing their pleas, princess consort cast a cold, stern gaze upon them, her eyes then shifting to second young Madame Tian, who appeared utterly frightened. Kneeling in submission, second young Madame Tian pleaded, I didn't do it on purpose. Princess consort, please forgive me. Deep down, second young Madame Tian felt both vexed and distressed. She couldn't comprehend what had transpired. Why had the flat ground seemingly transformed into uneven terrain, causing her to trip and fall in such a pitiful state? Upon regaining her senses, she scrutinized the ground, finding no irregularities. Perplexed, she suspected an illusion. Attempting to shift blame onto Qiao Xian, she realized that Qiao Xian stood too far away to be responsible. Forced to confess, second young Madame Tian found herself at a loss. Qiao Xian, observing the trio in their humbled state, recognized them as those who had mocked her. The notion of retribution lingered in her thoughts. However, she couldn't openly revel in it, resigned to savoring her satisfaction in solitude. The fourth princess consort relished the situation, thinking to herself, "You couldn't stand our nonsensical talk, could you? Heh, karma has arrived, hasn't it?" She found satisfaction in witnessing the person who valued her dignity the most making a public spectacle of herself. Approaching the distressed trio, the fourth princess consort expressed concern. "I don't believe they did it intentionally. It's the first month of the lunar year, and they've admitted their mistake. Sister-in-law, let's forgive them. How about I accompany you to change?" Given the unintentional nature of the incident, Princess Consort had no grounds for punishment. Suppressing her grievances, she generously raised her hand, saying, "All right, get up. I understand that it wasn't deliberate." "Thank you, Princess Consort." The three of them sighed in relief and helped the maidservant to her feet. As the fourth princess consort led Princess Consort to change, she instructed the other princess consorts to invite the guests into the theater, as the show couldn't proceed until Princess Consort arrived. Taking advantage of the moment, Qiao Xian approached second young Madame Tian and addressed her with a sly smile, ensuring her voice carried enough for those nearby to hear. "Princess Consort, your grace and magnanimity truly exemplify royal decorum. No need to argue with second young Madame. Thankfully, my Xianxia didn't accidentally push her down, or she might have faced severe scolding." Second young Madame Tian held her breath and shot a glare at Qiao Xian, recognizing her own wrongdoing but avoiding further confrontation. Qiao Xian smiled and walked past her with Xianxia, determined to find an opportunity for a comeback. She was prepared to endure mockery if it meant resisting the pressure to please Princess Consort and fourth Princess Consort. With plans to leave the capital soon, she cared little for potential consequences. She would not return anytime soon, and even if she did, she wouldn't rely on connections. There was little to worry about. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1632, The Fourth Prince's Residence is Famous. Second young Madame Tian's acquaintances exchanged glances and sighed inwardly. Madame Shao seemed too stubborn for her own good. Was she oblivious or clever? Even with Lord Shao in dire straits, she failed to grasp the importance of maintaining a low profile, building favorable connections, and avoiding unnecessary conflicts. Instead, she seemed determined to offend others to the point of no return. This, oh well, let her be. She who is down need not fear a fall, so she might as well embrace a vicious cycle. It was wiser not to provoke her again. Mocking her further would only lead to embarrassment. Word quickly spread about Qiao Xian mocking second young Madame Tian, but the ladies viewed it with indifference. Fortunately, the situation finally calmed down. No one dared to accuse her of ingratiating herself with fourth princess consort and princess consort. Princess consort, disgruntled, left the gathering promptly after changing her clothes. Aware of her mood, the fourth princess consort saw her off. With princess consort's departure, the audience couldn't continue enjoying the show, prompting a gradual dispersal of guests, including Qiao Xian. In the end, only a few close associates of the fourth princess consort concocted excuses to stay for a small gathering. The fourth princess consort felt thoroughly aggrieved. Princess consort's outburst had marred the banquet, and the lingering guests couldn't help but glance at the begonia tree in full bloom. The fourth princess consort's heart raced with anxiety. To dispel the joy, she ordered red silk to be fetched and draped over the tree. After all, the blooming flower was deemed too peculiar. Heretical and untimely, the blossoming of the crabapple tree posed an awkward situation for the fourth princess consort. The incident occurred during the banquet, and its conspicuousness made it impossible to conceal. Now, she had the daunting task of devising an explanation for the public. Qiao Xian seemed to revel in creating headaches for her, preventing her from finding further trouble. The thought of presenting her with a unique gift, ensuring her name echoed throughout the capital, filled Princess Consort with satisfaction, despite harboring anger within. Returning home, she shed her cumbersome attire and erupted in frustration. It was evident that the fourth Princess Consort orchestrated this intentionally, making things challenging for her. The arrogance and meddling of the Tian family irked her, and Xiao Xian's distant attitude upon seeing Shao Yunduan puzzled her. What did she imply? None of them are trustworthy. News of the sudden blossoming of a crabapple tree in the fourth prince's residence spread rapidly, accompanied by vivid descriptions. Many reacted with disbelief, deeming the situation absurd. Despite initial skepticism, the solemn vows and first-hand accounts from family members compelled people to reluctantly accept this improbable truth. Various interpretations emerged, with some seeing it as an auspicious sign and others deeming it ominous. The fourth prince's faction remained silent. The fourth prince was irate, viewing the incident as unfavorable. An auspicious sign in his residence? He is just a prince, the omen should be occurring in the palace or the crown prince's residence, not in his. What would his father and the crown prince think of him? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1633. She doesn't understand how was he going to explain this? Could it be that he had to claim it was an evil creature? That would be inauspicious. The fourth prince could not help but scold the fourth princess consort. The fourth princess consort felt wronged. How was she supposed to know that this would happen? If she had known, she would not have attended the banquet that day. Sure enough, the emperor had heard the news too. He even sent a young eunuch to the fourth prince's mansion to investigate. The fourth prince was scared out of his wits. He insisted that he didn't know what was going on either. It must be that this crabapple tree was good-looking, energetic, and overnourished. It bloomed just like that. This wasn't a sudden bloom. There were flower buds on the tree to begin with, but they weren't conspicuous. No one paid attention, so they naturally neglected it. Then, because of the warm weather, they all bloomed at once. There were all kinds of strange things in the world. The fourth prince even suggested that it was indeed rare to see a crabapple tree bloom so well at this time. Why not have someone carefully dig it out and send it to the palace so that father could admire it? The young eunuch did not dare to make this decision and went back to report in detail. The emperor didn't want the tree. He said that it wasn't easy for the crabapple tree to grow so big. He would keep it for himself. Seeing that his father had no intention of blaming him for this, the fourth prince heaved a sigh of relief. While the fourth prince heaved a sigh of relief, the crown prince felt very uncomfortable. An auspicious sign? What kind of auspicious sign did his fourth brother want? Was he not even going to hide it? Although many people said that this matter was too strange and most likely not a good thing, the crown prince was more inclined to believe it. However, there were still individuals who insisted that this was an auspicious sign. This matter lodged like a thorn in his heart, causing him profound unease and discomfort. Prompted by a reminder, the crown prince suddenly recollected that Xiao Xian was the one who had rescued the peony flowers in the court. Perhaps she possessed more knowledge about such matters than anyone else. Consequently, he urged Princess Consort to dispatch someone to consult Xiao Xian. Princess Consort, though displeased, did not dare to rebuff the crown prince's request, so she sent Auntie Liang on the errand. Auntie Fu expressed her desire to go, but Princess Consort declined. She couldn't fathom why Auntie Fu persistently tried to convince her that she had misunderstood Miss Qiao. She refused to heed her advice and harbored no inclination to entertain any positive remarks about Miss Qiao. Auntie Liang adopted a much more agreeable attitude this time. Bearing the crown prince's mission in mind, she recognized Xiao Xian's reputed temperament and refrained from putting on airs. After all, even if Xiao Xian became the target of the crown prince and princess consort's disdain, it wouldn't bode well for Auntie Liang. Xiao Xian hadn't anticipated a visit from the East Palace for such a matter. Wasn't this an exaggeration? Although Xianxia expressed her surprise, she couldn't explain why, so she offered her apologies. Auntie Liang displayed no surprise. Xianxia knew about peony flowers, but expecting her to be an expert on all flowers would be unreasonable. Smiling, Auntie Liang advised, in that case, I'll convey this message to you. Moreover, it's best to keep this knowledge to yourself. Disclosing it may lead to unwarranted speculation and complications. What are your thoughts, Madame Shao? She wanted her to remain discreet. Xianxia nodded. Certainly. Auntie Liang departed satisfied. When the fourth princess consort extended an invitation to Xianxia for the banquet, and when princess consort organized the event, she didn't want to exclude Xianxia, so she invited her as well. Xianxia found herself spending another day in the crown prince's mansion. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible.